Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
All right, so the U.S. Open is into full gear. And
Actually, the full gear is done. Like 3/4 of the matches are already done. It's so sad.
so it is sad. But yeah, third round is approaching. We still have one last second round match. We just watched an insane end to the third set of the O'Connell-Medvedev match, right? And we clinched our third GBM play of the day with O'Connell stealing that set with two weird doubles from Medvedev.
Yeah. 3 for 3 today, right? We got the MO money line. What else did we have?
It's Wawrinka -4.5 with a backdoor cover.
It was a ridiculous day, honestly, because we could have easily gone 0 for 3 and I wouldn't have been able to cry. Like Mo was down 2 sets and looking like he was in bad shape. Wawrinka was tied 1 set all and at even. He was actually down 5-3 in the second, and that was basically dead in the water, and somehow that covered. And then this match, somehow O'Connell won the third set, down 6-4 in the tiebreak. Like, it was honestly like one of the more ridiculous, like.
Yeah,
and did MO fake match point? I'm pretty sure he did too. I think at 30-40, 4-5, 30-40.
Right, he did.
In the fifth.
That's right.
So it's about. I mean, we faced one match point in two matches.
Had mini breaks in the fifth set breaker too. I think at 2 different times as well.
But pretty early on, and that was a race to 10. It was pretty early on. It's not like he was down like 9-7 or something insane.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it was pretty wild day. I think, like, personally, I ended up again. Thanks largely to this. I think I ended up like plus 40 units out of like a shit ton of bets. But
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just calculating GBM plays of the day. I mean, I track my bets on Discord right now, but like at the end of the tournament, I'll kind of do my stats. But I mean, overall, I feel like it's been a pretty decent tournament. Day 1 was the best for me. Day 2 was atrocious, and then day 3 and day 4, I probably broke even, I would say. But like our official plays have been amazing because like we agree on the 2 picks, and we have different ways of compartmentalizing our bets. Is probably the best way to put it. Like we kind of agree with the overall game script, but you weigh certain factors more than I do. I weigh other more than you. So like when we agree, it tends to work out. So we're up almost probably over 30 units since I think June 17th is when we started. So
yeah, it's been pretty amazing. It's been pretty amazing, pretty hot 2 members. I also feel like it's helped us, like, because I did terrible on clay. Like clay was horrible for me. And all the other sources have been okay. Clay was horrendous. And like this has been mostly hard court and a little grass with Wimbledon. So yeah.
What do you think we did, like, before we get into the U.S. Open? What do you think we did wrong on clay? Because like clay was definitely the weakest part of the year for me as well. A lot of the true tennis bettors, they actually like prefer betting on clay for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to like watch a lot more and read a lot more like analysis next year on the clay before I do bets and try to really understand like where these guys are thinking from. Because yeah, we both really struggled, and I still am having a really hard time figuring out why. Like, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe like, and it seems like both ways. It seems like in some case I wasn't just betting the better tennis player enough, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe I was thinking too much about like current form and things, and maybe like current form isn't as relevant on clay. I don't know.
Yeah, and weighing the surface too much.
So I think maybe that, or maybe, but then like, then I tried to stop doing that, and it still didn't work. So I'm thinking maybe it was like I was like weighing too much like current form instead of just thinking like who players have been over the past like 6-8 months or something.
Well, we can talk to like, John and Klaus and stuff and see what.
Yeah, and see. Maybe we just bet too much also. Maybe we just have to lower our volume on clay.
Maybe. That's a good point. But they've been doing it for much longer, so maybe we can like ask them kind of what their strategies are.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do that.
Day, but let's get right into the Open.
Well, one more thing. So you're killing me in the second serve challenge. It was pretty close. You had a fantastic day today.
Oh, okay. I didn't calculate today. I kind of do it at the end
Yeah,
of
I
the
think
day.
you're at like 70% for today. Um,
Wow.
but I also came up with my team name,
Okay.
the Joker and his clowns.
The Joker and his clowns. That's pretty self-explanatory. All right.
I mean,
Uh
my team is a bunch of clowns. Like my
they
team is
are clowns.
Tsitsipas, Eubanks, Yoshi, Huesler, Tiafo, Haliz, and Isner.
Yeah,
Given
these
their
are
performance in this tournament, I think they all qualify as clowns except Tiafo.
uh yeah, I would
The
agree
rest
with
of them are all out.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't classify Big John as a clown.
I'm not saying they're clowns and like their style. I'm just saying like in terms of they're not very good. They're not like either
they're
playing
real,
very
not
like
really good.
Yoshi's not a clown.
Yeah.
Isner's not a clown, obviously. Um, which actually, I mean, if we're ready to talk about U.S. Open, that kind of leads in probably the biggest story, honestly, the first 4 days is Isner's last. Isner obviously his last match against MO today.
Mhm.
Losing from 2 sets up, but classic Isner, like losing in like every match with him. He has played so many long matches. It's kind of cool to see it, like see his last match be a classic.
Yes, but I don't think it's really fitting that it's a 2-set to love lead lost.
No, it's not because Isner
Last
was not
match.
like a weak player.
No, he wasn't. He was actually very mentally strong.
Yeah, that was a very underrated part. Like everybody was like, oh, big serve, but like he was very good. Yeah, he was very, very good mentally. You're absolutely correct. In fact, I want
Mhm.
to look up his tiebreak percentage because I think it's really strong. I want to say it's like his career tiebreak percentage. I want to say it's
Really
like
good. It's got to be top
55% or
5.
something insane. What?
It's got to be top 5
Yeah, I'm looking.
because that's actually why he fell out of the top 100 because like in pre
Career tiebreak percentage 60%,
that's crazy. That's really good. I
which
mean
is
that
incredibly good. That's incredibly good. Like we talk a lot of guys who are theoretically good tiebreak players are like 52 to 55%. So that's really good. For comparison, I mean, Djokovic is at 66 for his career, which is insane.
better is what 65.
Federer's up there too. Yeah, Federer's at 65. Nadal.
Yeah, but those are the greatest players of all time, so to
Well,
be
Nadal's only 61.
well yeah, okay. Well, he doesn't have the serve to.
Yeah, but that's like I think that's a common misnomer though, because like look at Hubie. Hubie's barely over 50%. Hubie's like 52, and he's got a huge
Well,
serve.
you need serve plus the game to back it up. Like what Isner
But
does
was
really
Isner's
well.
game backing up his serve that much better than
No,
Hubie's?
but Isner plays more opportunistically. Like he empties the tank in a tiebreak, whereas like during the set he'll kind of like after like if he goes down 15 love on the opponent's serve, he'll just kind of throw the game away.
Yeah, I
So
mean you might have a point there, right? Because like Sampras had a ridiculous tiebreak record. I'm pretty
right,
sure. Sampras was 63 for his career.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, you might have a point there.
yeah. I just think like you have to throw away Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal. Like those are the 3 greatest players of all time. So whatever they did, like I don't think you could put Isner in that conversation. So you kind of have to
But
wait.
he's actually not that far off. Is the crazy thing? Like I mean, he's at 60 and Nadal's at 61,
Right.
and that 60 is probably dragged down by this year, where I think the past year or so he's actually been under 500 in tie breaks, which is how he's kind of starting to. I mean, you knew he had lost it, right? Like let's
Right.
let's be fair and say this: like Isner didn't retire from tennis; tennis retired him,
Yeah. Well, it's
and
good
I
that
think
he retired
Isner.
on his own terms.
What?
It was good that he could retire on his own terms. Like that was a good way.
Kind of, but did he really retire? Like that's my question. Is like, because he was. I mean, he had to get a wild card into the U.S. Open, right? He was out of the top 100.
Right.
Like, I don't think this is actually like. I think he's retiring on his own terms
Mhm.
in order to. But it was like a last chance to save face and retire. Like I'm glad he did because it was time to
Yeah.
go. Like his time was
Yeah, he
up.
picked the right time. I agree.
But like, I mean, what was he gonna do if he didn't like after this hardcourt swing? He was gonna what play challengers like.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And he didn't like the travel and I think he has 4 kids right now, so he did pick the right time. I totally agree with you. I just think like people say, "Oh, he's a complete serve bot" and stuff like that. Like I think his mental toughness is what I take from his career more than anything. I think he was extremely mentally tough and like a great battler, never gave in, like, and I think that's a very underrated part of his game and why he's had a pretty good career.
Yeah, I think it's underrated, but he is a serve bot. Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, he's the best server of all time, right? He has the most aces.
Yeah.
Like, he's like that's why he was successful, is because he had to serve. That said, Manny, I will say, like, everybody knows that, and I think that's why, like, the fun take is the take that you have, because I agree with you. I think like the mental, and I think it's underrated that he, like, when he really tried to win return games, his return game was like,
Decent.
I'm not gonna say good, but it was like almost passable. Because I think, like, if you look at like the stats with Isner, it's probably bogged down. Because I felt like he tanked a lot of games.
I agree.
In his career.
I agree.
Like, he would go down 30-love and like be like, whatever, like this is not happening. Like,
I mean,
next
he
game.
has a decent forehand. Let's give him that too, right? Like,
yeah,
his attacking forehand is pretty good. And
yeah, and he always tried, right? Like, he always tried to get better, always tried to, like, work on things, and like, he competed in terms of trying to win matches. Like, when he tactically tanked points in games, sure, but like, it's not like you saw him like, I can't remember him like ever clowning away a match.
no, I don't think he ever did that.
So,
did he ever reach the top 10?
He did. He made the World Tour Finals in 18.
Right. That's right.
Well, he won Miami. Yeah.
He has one Masters 1000, right? Just Miami?
Just Miami. He has one with the Wimbledon semi against Anderson, which is sad because he could have made the final. He would have gotten destroyed, but he could have made the final. And then 2 US Open quarters. I mean, that's always what kind of held him back, is like, again, to be fair, in reviewing the career of John Isner, like, he had a really good game for like succeeding at like a top 10 to 20 level.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, he did really well. I think he has like 16 titles. I looked it up today. He had like a whole bunch, like a whole slew of American hardcourt titles. And like, like, and he could win like 250s and the occasional 500, I guess, mostly 250s.
I mean, he made a couple Masters finals. He made Indian Wells in 20.
I think he had 5 Masters finals.
Okay, including the one he won in
yeah, I think he went 1-4, either 1-4 or 1-5, but I think, yeah.
So let me see. Can you pull him up? Let me see if I can guess him.
Yeah, I'll pull him up. I actually have him up. I have his Wikipedia page up because I was looking at back at his career.
So I know he made 2012 Indian Wells.
Yep.
Right. He lost to Federer.
Yep.
I think he lost. It wasn't it 2016 Paris.
Yep.
That's number 2. 2013 Cincinnati.
Yep.
That's 3. The one he won, obviously, Miami in 2017?
18.
Okay. And the last one was Miami in 2019, where he lost to Federer.
The next year, yeah.
Right? So those were his 5 Masters finals?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
He was also a lot better player on slow courts than people give him credit for.
Agreed. Well, he's one of 2 players who took Nadal to 5 sets at the French.
Besides Djokovic.
Right.
Yeah, because Djokovic has done it at least once, if not 2.
Federer hasn't done it. I mean, all the other guys that...
No, what's the list? It's Isner, FAA.
Oh, FAA, that's right. 3.
Yeah, Isner, FAA, Djokovic, and anybody else?
No. That's it. Which is crazy to be on that list. It
is.
The fact that it was at the French, and yeah, I mean, I thought of the big 3, Isner had his best shot against Nadal. Right? Like, if you think of the 3 guys, who did he prefer playing? Djokovic, obviously the least, just because the service, that the returns are neutralized. But would you rather play Nadal or Federer?
Probably Nadal, because it seemed like Federer always was able to, like, do enough against his serve to get like a break here and there. So
Mhm.
Federer was 8-2 against Isner.
Okay.
Nadal 8-1.
Okay.
I don't remember Isner and Djokovic playing too many times head to head. I think actually it was more than, and he was 10-2 against Djokovic.
Or 2-10, yeah.
2-10, yeah.
It's
So I guess it doesn't really matter. He wasn't very good against any of them.
2013.
Who is? I said he wasn't very good against any of them, but who is? Like,
right, exactly. I mean, to have wins against all three of them is commendable, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, like I always felt like he was someone who like made it pretty far a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know if the stats back that up, but it just feels that way. Like he made a lot of like, I don't know. It felt like he made like a good number of like fourth rounds, third rounds of slams, a good number of like Masters, like fourth round quarters types runs. Like he was that like he was like a very consistent 10 to 20 player.
Yeah. And he definitely was not an underachiever. I mean, he maximized what he had. And I do.
Yeah, I think people, I agree with that. And I think people, because of the serve and because he's so tall, like it's one of those like, I don't know, maybe people hate tall people or something, but like tennis isn't basketball.
No, it's not.
Like there haven't been a whole lot of like super tall guys who have been successful, right? Like at some point, like I feel like the being tall is like not that helpful anymore because you start to lose the ability to like hit ground strokes as well, hit low balls. Like,
but for a really, really tall guy, he was actually pretty durable. Like most tall guys like that can't really play a sport like this and really be durable. And
well, that's why I wonder if part of his style was to make sure he would be able to be durable. Because he also played one of the least, and again, I'm not, Isner is a very respectable, lovable dude, so I'm not trying to hate on him, but he didn't play like a very physical style. The vast majority of the rallies were over in 4 balls. Like he really,
right. Yeah, but I mean, he always kind of like I don't remember him playing a 5-setter where he just like called the trainer, tanked. As you said, he never clowned away a match, right? So like even though it wasn't a physical brand of tennis, you still have to be out there for 4+ hours, and like knowing that you're going to go 7-6 most sets, like it still takes a toll, So I think
I don't disagree, but it's something we've seen like. And it's definitely true. Like these guys who have these, I don't know, less physical styles seem to have less injury issues. Like if you, I don't know, I just think there's like, it's right. If you're going to play that physical brand of tennis and like really try to jerk the ball around, it's kind of a concern for Alcaraz, to be honest. Like,
okay,
because like a guy like that just with his, what?
Good transition.
Yeah, it's not even an intentional transition, but we can. That's the next play. I think it's a logical next place to go. If you look at a guy like Alcaraz, like the way he plays such a physical style, that could become a problem. Like he just runs down so many balls, so much RPM, so much spin, hitting every ball so hard. Yeah. Like, and I guess with that, so yeah, so John, it's probably the last time we'll talk about John. Before we go away from John, we do have to call out. The disciples are definitely crying right now, and I think Josh Hall is kind of crying right now too. So a shout out to Woj.
Yeah,
John Isner and his disciples. I'll always remember that from now on. Like John Isner will be like the leader. He's now more of a leader in my eyes because of that.
Big his disciples. Poor Josh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Alcaraz, I do agree with you. I feel like at this stage in his career, like he just can't help himself. Like, I feel like
I know it's too easy to be young, right?
It is. But Alcaraz is every tennis coach's dream, right? Like when a tennis coach brings up a player, that's what they teach, right? They teach you to run for every ball, and if you don't run for balls, then you're going to be doing push-ups or laps or whatever it is, right? So like I guess when you're playing at this level and you're trying to have a long career, I guess you can kind of hold it against him, but like at some point, like, do you really feel like Novak just lets balls go too? Like that's part of tennis.
I think it's
You know?
more the amount of spin that Alcaraz generates on the ball and how hard he swings at every ball.
But Nadal does that too. His racket head speed is really good.
Well, and Nadal's injury record speaks for itself too.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I guess. Yeah, I feel like he needs to go into that more kind of just play, you know, how do you explain it? Like, be content with kind of working points, rallying, and kind of gauge when you need to ramp it up. I think that's what he needs to do, kind of play the score a little more slightly.
See, for me, I don't know if it's playing the score, if it's like, I don't know how you actually teach this or execute on this, so it's kind of a moot point, but like, he seems to try to hit every ball with like the maximum purpose possible.
Okay.
I feel like, Sinner's, a lot of these guys now are the same way. You know what I mean? Where like every ball is like hit as good as you can.
Whereas Djokovic, when he hits each ball, it's kind of to slowly wear you down, right? Like slowly.
Right. Like, don't you feel like Djokovic sometimes doesn't hit the best shot he can? Like he's just content to put the ball in the court. Not just put the ball in the court, but
I don't necessarily feel like I don't feel like Alcaraz goes for broke on every ball.
But I feel like when he does, I feel like he just puts like a lot more. He just feels like he puts a lot more energy and like a lot, like similar to how Nadal did. Like he just put a lot more energy into every shot. Like he just swung harder. You know what I mean? Like you like, because he got so much more spin. So sometimes he would swing hard to generate all that extra spin. Which again is great in terms of the shot. That's great like technique. That's a great way to play tennis. So it's hard to hold it against him.
Yeah.
But I do worry from an injury perspective. It's just like a lot of effort, whereas it feels like the way Novak plays doesn't like the average shot doesn't require as much effort, right? Like,
well, I mean, let's be fair. Alcaraz has had some injury problems already, right? He had that oblique to start the year.
Yeah.
Right? Or he couldn't play Australia. Like he had a rough end to last year. So he's had some issues already. He's been able to recover from them. I mean, that's partly probably due to his age and stuff, but I don't know. It's a really, really hard take because like look where what he's done got him, right? Like it's got him to 2 slams at age.
And the other thing is like, so Nadal's had a ton of injuries too, right?
It's got him 20.
But I think if Alcaraz has Nadal's career, I think we'll accept that.
I agree.
So like I guess I'm not even saying he should change. I'm just saying like I wouldn't be surprised if injuries were a problem for him. Mm-hmm. But I'm not like I said, I'm not even really suggesting he change because I don't really know that you'd want him to change.
Just don't get injured when Novak is playing. Like after he's playing, then sure, that's fine. Like after Novak retires, then he can get injured all he wants because like at least it will make a slam interesting because it will.
Well, and honestly, so like I mean, we called this out at the beginning of the pod, and you were championing it way more than me, but like that's my takeaway from these first 2 rounds is that like, I mean, you like to use your head and shoulders term because it's a cool term to use, but like, those 2 guys, like, and honestly, like, I was going to ask you about this, like, from a betting perspective, like, I don't even care about like, in terms of picking the winner, I don't even care about the first 6 rounds. Unless Djokovic or Nadal get hurt, or unless they, like, lose multiple sets.
I do have to say Sinner has impressed. He's won easily in straight sets against Sonego and Hoffman, 2 respectable opponents. He's been striking the ball really well. So I have to say the first 2 rounds, I am impressed by him. I was impressed by Zverev, straight setting Vukic, 4-4-4. No tie breaks and like getting a break in each set. Like that was pretty good. But today he kind of regressed against Hoffman. He didn't play a good match. He got through it, but
you mean Altmaier?
Altmaier, that's right. Yeah. So I wasn't like super impressed by him today, but I do have to say Sinner right now, if they play again and Sinner doesn't catch this virus going on in Queens, I have to say that it would be fun to watch against Alcaraz. Just also because
it would. They do bring out like Sinner
They-
actually does make Alcaraz play, but honestly, I mean, it feels like the only guys that like the only guy that Djokovic really even respects it. Like I think he respects all the players, but there's an extra level of respect that Alcaraz gets that other guys don't get.
I agree.
And I feel like especially for Alcaraz, Djokovic gets a level of respect that nobody else gets, and Sinner probably gets half a level that like, and almost nobody else gets really much respect from Alcaraz besides those two guys. Like, I don't think Alcaraz is
fearful
like
of
some of the stuff that went on in that Lloyd Harris Alcaraz match tonight. Like, it felt like both guys. It almost felt like a practice session at times. Like both guys knew who was going to win.
Right. I mean,
like the way they were like, like clapping hands and like,
Harris was smiling.
Alcaraz was trying.
It was a practice session, glorified practice session for sure. But
yeah,
honestly, the only player to me that can prevent an Alcaraz Djokovic final is Sinner.
it's Chris O'Connell.
Chris O'Connell's still fighting, but he's down a break in the fourth. But yeah, I mean, he's really the only guy, right? Sinner?
Yeah. I think that, I mean, like maybe Zverev, maybe, but I don't know. Like
the mental gap is so big there.
I know. Like I would need like I don't even know. Like if you gave me like plus 800 on Zverev, I would take it. Like it's
that's getting there where I might sprinkle, considering he's beaten him before. But like, yeah, I mean that's what you're thinking. If I got plus 600, I certainly wouldn't take it.
Yeah, it's just insane to think that like we're looking at like I mean, what to me right now looks like a 2-man tournament and maybe 3. But it makes it tough too, because like usually you'd be like, in terms of like the outrights and stuff, you'd be watching this. But like I don't even care because like these are glorified practice sessions until maybe if Alcaraz plays Sinner, that's kind of interesting.
No, that's definitely interesting.
It is. It's interesting, but like
But the problem is like, Sinner has to play Zverev, right, in the fourth round, and that's a match which could take a lot out of Sinner. And if that match takes a lot out of Sinner's legs and they go 4 or 5 deep into the fourth or fifth, that significantly reduces his chances in the quarters, right? Like Sinner has to be in absolute peak shape to hang with Alcaraz,
Alcaraz has to be a little bit off in order for Sinner to actually win.
Exactly. So, like, if Zverev was in Alcaraz's 16, right? If they played in the fourth round, then it's a slightly different ball game.
I agree.
I also am a little worried that Sinner is going to catch this virus because he does.
Oh, I do too.
He is prone to catching some viral illnesses.
And there's a virus going around today. It got Hubie.
It is. Got Hubie. Right. So, I mean, I hope he's wearing a mask. Yeah, I mean, I you would think I'm joking about it, but Sinner does have a tendency of catching these things. So
yeah, he does. No, I agree with you, and I think we talked about it before. I agree.
Yeah, but he's really the only guy because the bottom half of the draw is an absolute joke for Novak. Like he would have to he plays Djere in the next round, which is probably his toughest match, to be honest. Then he would play the winner of Gojo and Vesely in the round of 16. Then he'd play probably Fritz. Actually, I think Stricker might even be a tougher match for him than Fritz, surprisingly. In the quarters, we saw how Djokovic brushed aside Fritz in Cincy. Like it was just.
I think Fritz is the toughest matchup there. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Stricker's. I don't think Stricker's that good. Like he's fun, but there's this between being fun and being good.
True, that was probably more bad Tsitsipas.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean that was probably the match of the tournament so far with Stricker Tsitsipas to transition because there's.
I actually thought it was Feast or Arnaldi today. That was an amazing.
Okay, you thought that was. I didn't see Feast on Arnaldi. But I heard it was a great match.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, I thought Stricker did a really good job tactically, and I don't know if he like stumbled into it or if it was on purpose. but he did a really good job of attacking Tsitsipas's backhand.
Mm-hmm. And I respect that he stayed very true to his tactic for the entirety of that match. Right? I mean, it was working, but like to execute that over and over and over again was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But as you said, like when we were texting, it felt like whoever got deep to the backhand would win the point.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you put like a little like
it's like if you're a pro, right? If you're like, again, if you're doing lessons as a 10-year-old, if you're teaching a 10-year-old kid and you're like, okay, here's the little like winner box, and every time you hit the ball into the winner box, you score a point. Like there was a little, they could put out little cones and had a winner box, and it would have been the same thing. Like,
right, exactly. They should have got like coins or something every time they hit a ball in that winner box, like exactly what it was.
That is what it was. That is Mario Tennis. If you ever played Mario Tennis, I think they had a game where you could do that. There were like little rings, and if you hit the ball through the rings, you got coins.
Right, exactly.
And that's kind of what this match felt like.
It is. And Stricker just was able to do it a couple more times. But
yeah,
credit to him, he also hang in physically, because like that was our biggest question mark as that match was progressing. Like, can Stricker hang with Tsitsipas physically?
I didn't think he'd be able to. I was impressed. I agree.
Either. So that shows that he's also made some improvements. I still think he needs to make some strides in that area, but like he's making steps, right?
Yeah.
So that was a really good win. I mean, we hit all three bets there. I hit over 10.5 in the first set. I hit the Stricker set one money line at plus 200, and then we hit the plus 6.5.
Yeah, I didn't have any of the money lines, so I missed out on the big boys, but I did hit the over 10.5, and I hit the plus 6.5. I thought the plus 6.5 was a gimme, to be honest.
That was a great bet.
Against Tsitsipas. Like either way, right? Even if it was somehow like that was just always gonna be a close match, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to Fils and Arnaldi, because those are two of the hottest, I think, young prospects in the game. Guys kind of working their way up. So I'm really glad they had a really epic 5-set match. I think it's probably good for both their careers.
I think Fils is a slightly better player. I think physicality took a how do you say it? I can't speak, but like I think Fils, the fact that he played that long 5-setter against Greek Sport kind of caught up to him late in that Arnaldi match. That being said, there was a lot of good shot making in that match. It was just really fun to watch. It was a great back and forth, and Fils hung in there, crowd pumped up, and it was just a really good tennis match from both. No drama, no injury timeouts, just like good 4 hours of best of 5 tennis. And Arnaldi, I think, played the tighter moments in the second and third sets better. It was like 7-5, 7-6. And then the fourth set, I felt like Fils kind of lost that 10% early in the set that got him the break. He was up 2 breaks, I think, in the fifth. Fils got 1 back, and then Arnaldi closed it out. So overall, just a really good match. I do think that if Fils was, didn't play that 5-setter against Greek Sport, he would have found a way through that, because I do think he's the slightly better player. On clay, I think just all around, like these are 2 all quarters, right? I think their best surfaces right now are clay, but I think their games transition pretty well to like a medium hard court as well.
I agree with all that. I also think like both of their games are fun and probably good for tennis.
Yep.
Fils is probably the more marketable one. He's probably like more, more exciting dude. Mm-hmm. A little bit flashier, just in terms of personality. Also, he's jacked, which I think helps. Like, I just think it helps to have I think it helps to have really
he has that Songa persona, right, about him.
Well, he also that Songa size, and he's like super wide, and I think I don't know, in a weird way, I think that helps the game of tennis. If I think it helps to see that if the players are bigger, them to be seen as athletes, whereas if the players aren't
it doesn't necessarily help him though. I'm
not saying it helps him as a tennis player. I'm saying it helps his marketability, I think.
Okay, fair. It's a fair point.
Because I think people see, I don't know, we just especially in America, and I don't know if it's the same in Europe or not, but like, especially in America, because our two main sports are football and basketball, like I think we tend to see athletes as like automatically muscular dudes. Like automatically big muscular dudes. And like when you see these like small, these like small, thin tennis players out there, you're like, this guy's not an athlete.
Well, you're probably right, because yesterday on the Spaces they were like, "Oh, this guy Feast, he's Jack Diesel." Yeah, okay, that's all and great, but like, how does he play tennis? Like, this is a tennis Spaces, like it's not it's not world's strongest man, So I do agree with you in terms of marketability. I mean, he reminds me of Songa. Like when I watch Feast.
Yeah, I agree. It's the size, the personality. The game is very different. Like, but everything else is very similar.
How is the game that much different? They're both pretty good movers, both big serve, big forehand. I think Feast has a slightly better backhand.
I think Feast is much more consistent. Like, and he's probably, I think he's much less. I don't know. Someone had a tendency to have, I think, poor tactics at times. Not even at times, just poor tactics. I don't think some of his tactics were very good. And I think Fees is probably.
If you're saying all that, then that's really good for my dinner bet. Because like a more consistent song.
No, I think Fees will make the top 10. The problem is you only have 18 months for him to get there, or actually down 16 months.
I mean, he's getting close to the top 30, top 35 now, top 40. So he's definitely making strides in the right direction.
Oh, I think he'll get there. Like, this bet was not about like, will Fees make the top 10? It's the fact that I thought, went overboard and putting 2024 on it. I think like 2025, I would have been with you on it.
Okay. My biggest concern is injury, because he is a bigger dude. Like if he starts playing.
That's my biggest concern long term, but I do think it'll take him like, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to make it to the top 10, man. Like,
it is.
There's a big difference between 30 and 15.
Yeah. Well, how about Arnaldi? What are your takeaways on him?
I mean, I think he's really good too. I mean, I kind of agree with all your takes. I don't think he's quite as good of an athlete as Feast. Not that he's a bad athlete, but I don't think he's quite as good of an athlete as Feast. I think like his upside might be a bit more limited, but like, I still think he's really good. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like I think he should.
Oh, definitely has weapons. Yeah,
he should be a favorite against Norrie, no doubt.
I would say that's a damn close match. We'll talk about that match more when we preview the matches, but like, I'd say I have a little concern about, can he come back after a 5-set match?
Fair, but I mean, Norrie playing Shevchenko and Shu, and actually struggling against Shu today, where he could have easily lost the first and the third set, I feel. And the second set got competitive. It actually got complicated late in that set. I think this is a huge step of class. Like,
I think all the sets got, like, I don't think Norrie's played particularly well. I agree with you on that. Yeah, we'll talk about that match more.
Okay, sounds good. What else? Tiafoe. Any takeaways from him? Played Lerner Tien and Sebastian Offner. I really have no takeaways. I think he did what he
I heard he played. I didn't watch him play Lerner Tien. I heard he played really well, but I also would think that it'd be easier to play well against a guy like a Lerner Tien. You know what I mean? Like, and I guess we can talk about that though. Like, it's like I don't think the top or the bottom quarter are particularly interesting, so there's probably not much to talk about there. It is cool to see Baez make the third round. I'm just going through the draw right now. It's cool to see Baez make the third round. I don't know. He's backing up that Winston-Salem run, which I didn't expect him to do, to be honest.
Well, Coric is actually really bad. Like, he's been terrible. He generated a ton of break points in that match and just couldn't do anything. And
I have a hard time saying Coric is really bad. I think like,
well, he's in bad form now. I'm not saying
he's not anywhere. I don't think he's like near a top 30 player right now, but like we're talking about the US Open with this like 128 players in the field.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to say he's one of the worst 30 or 40 players in the field.
Okay, I agree with you there. I feel like Coric had a lot of trouble generating offense. Like he did the same thing for 3 sets. He didn't change a single tactic in the entire match, and nothing really worked. And even when Baez like missed a few balls and Coric was able to kind of get back into a set, it just never felt like he was making positive progression either in the scoreline or in the rally. And that's what was troublesome. Like, and I felt like even his backhand, which is his best shot, usually he's able to kind of make some positive progression in a rally with the backhand. He wasn't able to do that. So I don't know. And his serve is actually a liability too. Like his first serve is okay, but his second serve is attackable. And against like Baez, who, is a grinder and aggressive baseliner, that's going to be problematic. So
makes sense.
Yeah, and then today against Meligeni Alves, like Baez is the better player. Let's be honest. I don't know what kind of injury Alves had.
I heard calf. I heard calf, not calf. Like he's something in the lower leg. Some kind of lower leg injury. Calf, foot, heel, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's playing good tennis. He's on a 12-match winning streak right now. Winning.
I mean, that's what. Like at some point, right? We have to give the guy some props. Like it's 12 in a row, 2 different surfaces. One's at altitude, one's not. Like
absolutely.
So at some level, like
now it's confirmed he'll play Medvedev in the next round. I mean, that's where it ends for him.
Yeah, right? I don't see how he does anything against Medvedev.
Me neither.
I mean, Baez is actually a decent volleyer, I think. Like, so I guess, like, but I don't know how he gets into the head is ironically the problem.
Yeah. Well, he's improving his movement on hard court. I'll give him that.
He is. I did actually watch. I caught a little bit of him, and I would 100% agree with that. In the little bit, I saw a little bit of his match versus Coric, a little bit, and I was very the 20 minutes I saw, I was very impressed by how well he moved compared versus last year when he really looked like he couldn't. Even 6 months ago, he looked like he couldn't move on hard court.
And I feel like he's kind of toned back a little bit on hard. Like he's kind of staying in rallies more so. Whereas last year, I felt like he was overly aggressive. I don't know. That's another thing I noticed about Baez.
I think he's just adjusting to the surface in general. Okay. And that's obviously a very general thing to say. So I'll break down a little bit more what I mean by that. But I feel like he's and maybe this isn't. I haven't seen any stats on this, but this is just me watching. But it feels like he's kind of playing a little bit more up on the hard courts, like making more of an effort to take away time, understanding that playing way in the back and hard is not as good. I think it comes with the improved movement that we talked about, right? But it just feels like he's not, to your point, like on clay, right? You tend to hit everything big and with the spin and everything. Right. And I feel like he's starting to understand that like those like hitting big and with spin the way you do on clay isn't as necessary or helpful on hard.
Right. Yeah, so he's standing a little bit closer to the baseline and not going for broke on every ball, right? Like not jumping into every shot and just kind of taking some more balls off the rise. So those subtle adjustments are what's really helping.
And I think they're a lot better on hard court, all those strategies, than clay.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then Jari beat Mickelson. I didn't see much of the match, but that was a fun. It's a match that if I would have been able to see, I would have liked to see. But there's just so many matches on, and I didn't get a chance to catch any of it.
I think Jari is just a more, he's paid his dues more on the tour. I think that's what it would boil down to. And like best of 5 tennis, like Mickelson started well, but just winning a set, doesn't really win you a best of 5 match. Like there's still a huge uphill battle even after you win a set. And I think Jari understood that, and he kind of dug deep and found a way in each of the next 3 sets. And I think, also Mickelson really couldn't hang in physically for that long of a match. A little bit disappointed there were no tie breaks there. I had the over 10.5 in the first set. And Mickelson broke late in that set, so I didn't get there. I also had the over 40.5. I know it was a high number, but like Yare's a pure over guy. Like
he is, and I understood the reasoning. I stayed away. I stayed away from the match entirely, but
it was
I
like
understood the
38 or
reasoning.
30. I think it landed at 38, right? So I was
Yeah,
like
30, yeah.
a couple
Which
games
always
off,
stinks.
but like it stinks. I mean, the number was really high. It's just like Yari, I think like 10 of his last 11 matches have gone over.
Yeah.
So he definitely is pretty close to a pure over guy. And yeah.
Yeah. I do have to say, in terms of betting, both of us called out that we thought Murray would beat Dimitrov. I think we both had Murray money line, and that was probably one of our worst calls of the past month. That did not exactly work out.
It did not. So I guess the physical gap outweighed the mental gap. Right?
I also don't think, I mean, amazingly, Dimitrov was fine coming back out 2 days after playing 4.5 hours, which I was really impressed by, because the Murray match was actually pretty physical for 3 sets. I think it went like 245 or something.
Against Mute?
No, this match against Dimitrov.
Oh, this match? Yeah. No, yeah.
It was like 2 hours, 45 minutes. It was 3 sets, and the scoreline was a beatdown.
The first 4 games were 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Which was insane. Yeah, I was surprised at Dimitrov. I thought this was a classic dud spot. I just think Murray right now, especially coming off that injury that he had earlier in the summer, he's just like so underpowered right now.
Yeah.
Like watching that match, he couldn't generate any offense. Like you could.
Well, that's another story of the tournament, I think. Like that, and that's probably the overarching story is Isner, but then like the second story would be like injuries and illness.
Yeah.
Like it feels like every other guy, and I've seen other people mention this too, but it feels like there's a lot of guys who have some sort of issue.
Yeah, Hubie had it today against Draper. Like I felt like it felt to me like Hubie put on a Draper costume. Like
you could tell he was just sick. I mean, it was it was weird. Like I don't know if you saw, he called out the trainers after the second set, but they didn't like do anything. I think they did give him medication, but like it's like fun to see the trainers come out for illness. It's like, what are they gonna do?
I know. You can give him like Dayquil or NyQuil or Dayquil. You don't want to make him drowsy, but yeah, I mean it's tricky.
You got to bring out Manny Fridman from the stands, do some pharma work.
Yeah, some pharmaceuticals. It's a shame, to be honest. I mean, like it feels like there are more retirements here than I can remember at any tournament.
Yeah, I don't know how many retirements there have been, but it just feels like there's been, even if guys aren't like really hurt, a lot of like question marks.
Yeah. I mean, did Team have the illness too? Is that why he retired as well?
I think, yeah. That's what I heard, yeah. And that was a great match with like 7-6-1-0 or something.
Oh, I know.
I was on the over there, so it was like screaming towards my over, and then
yeah. It just feels like with this illness, they just kind of like play a decent couple sets and then they just hit a wall, right?
Maybe because like Huey played 0 decent tennis today.
All right, that's true. That's true.
So and Huey didn't even play well in the third set. The third set, like I don't know how he won 5 games in the third set. Like I don't know how he held 5 times.
Draper was actually trying to choke that match away. He
was. Draper wanted to give him the match, but Huey couldn't do anything to make it happen. Yeah.
Right. That's how it felt. And like, because I felt like if that went 4 or 5, then Draper would start hurting. He would start hurting physically too. Right. And then it would just be like a complete slog fest of a match. I lost you there.
Yeah. I thought Draper looked surprisingly like not good physically for how non-physical of a match that was for him.
Yeah.
Like he didn't look the best physically by the third set. And I'm like, Draper, like, what are you doing, buddy? Like this has not been like, this is basically like 2.5 sets he played so far. Like it's not like.
So with Draper, I realized that he struggles physically most when he plays guys that take control of points, and put him on the defensive.
Yeah.
So like when he plays a guy like Greek Sport, for example, in Winston-Salem, like, and especially in those conditions, that's a pure Draper fade spot because Greek Sport is going to be able to put pressure on Draper and like force him into the corners, stuff like that. Hubie doesn't really do that, right? Because he kind of just massages the ball around the court. He doesn't really hit with too much aggression. So
Yeah.
you know, like who does Draper play next?
Rinky. No, he doesn't. He doesn't play Rinky. He
Uh,
plays MO. Same thing. Not same thing, but he plays MO.
Pretty much. Yeah. So like that's not a match where Draper is really like I don't feel like a retirement coming there because like Mo doesn't have offense. Right? I mean, it depends on the heat and it depends on the length of the match, I guess.
I mean, if it gets to the 4th or 5th set, all bets are off, Manny, in my opinion.
Okay.
If Draper's down 2-1, I don't know.
Fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. In the 3rd set, he didn't look good and he was looking to throw away that match. So if Hubie was like 10 or 15% better, I would certainly back him to win that match, come back from 2-0. But
so now that you've seen Hubie go out, Manny, what like do you think de Minaur is a better pick to win the quarter, or do you think this is just Medvedev all the way now? Because Hubie was your pick.
I actually like what I seen from Rublev, to be honest. I like what
Didn't he lose a set to Monfils today?
He did, but Monfils plays possum. He can like rip a couple winners. Like Monfils winning a set doesn't really negatively impact my thoughts on Rublev. Like Monfils is
I hear you.
a set against anyone, you know.
I hear you, but I hear you. I mean, I don't know. My opinion,
and I like Rublev's draw now. I mean, I like Medvedev's draw, to be honest, too. I just think de Minaur in best of 5, it's tougher for him because he doesn't really have many tools in his tool bag.
So he needs the other guy to blow 3 sets as opposed to 2. I get it.
It's really hard for him, you know, and like Yari's going to be a tough matchup because like, you know, he's not going to have that many looks to break. And like, if de Minaur doesn't serve very well, like Yari can sneak out a break potentially, right? Like if he rips a few returns, it's going to be tough.
I think de Minaur will get some chances to break. De Minaur's a really good returner.
Fair. So you make him a pretty sizable favorite against Yari?
We'll talk about the match more.
Okay. That being said, if Yari gets through, like, I don't think Medvedev has any trouble against Yari. Like, the only 2 guys, actually the only one guy that can really, really trouble Medvedev, I think, is de Minaur. Medvedev has had a really positive record against Rublev, right, in their career. I think Rublev got him once at the World Tour Finals last year in a 3rd set breaker, but I think that might be it.
So did everybody else.
That's true. It's a good point. But to be honest, I really like Medvedev to get out of this quarter, especially with Hubie going out.
So what price would you need to bet Medvedev?
Right now, I would probably need the price that he was pre-tournament. Do I still get that price?
Not up yet.
It's not up yet. But if I got like plus 120 on Medvedev to win the quarter, I probably would take it right now.
I mean, I'd be amazed if it's that good. It's
yeah.
He's 9-1 to win the event right now.
Which is about the same, but that hasn't changed because Djokovic and Alcaraz are still in there.
Yeah.
So that doesn't.
I've got to think with Hubie out, Hughes' odds have gone down because they were 125 to start. I've got to think he's even money, if not worse.
Yeah.
Plus 2 rounds are in the bag, right? Like, I mean, like I'm not saying like it was a real threat he's going to lose either of those matches, but probably knocks him down a few cents. I'd be surprised if you get
Purcell in Cincinnati form would have been a damn tough matchup. You know. Because I think if Purcell was healthy, he probably beats O'Connell.
Yeah. So I agree with you from a matchup perspective. I just don't know if he would have enough in best of 5 to to challenge. Like maybe he gets a set. He probably gets a set, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is a really good draw for Medvedev. And
I agree.
As I said, de Minaur in 2 out of 3, I'll I might sprinkle some on de Minaur, but not in best of 5. Yari's a great matchup. Baez is a great matchup. Rublev is a great matchup, and then like Draper, Mo, and Rinderknecht, like they don't pose any threats. So
yeah,
if I can get the plus 120 on Medvedev, even maybe plus 110, plus 100, I would probably.
But I do think I will go out. I will go out and say that I think the 4th round will be tougher than the quarter. Like I think the toughest match he'll have is whoever wins that Jari de Minaur match. I think that's gonna be tougher from than Rublev.
Yari. I think Rublev would be tougher than Yari.
Okay, but you think de Minaur would be tougher than Rublev?
Agreed. Slightly.
Yeah, I think I agree with that take.
All right.
Moving to the bottom half. Rinky beat Fucsovics 1-2 and 1.
That's
crazy. And Fucsovics beat Korda in the first round. That's really the takeaway. Is Korda goes down to Fucsovics.
Yeah, I guess that match gassed him.
What?
I guess that match like made Fucsovics tired.
That's the theory. Is that Fucsovics looked pretty good. Who knows? Maybe he got sick too. Because I would think that Fucsovics would be able to get through a 5-setter and be okay for the next match.
Exactly. Like, it felt like Rinky should be the one with all those muscles, right? That's how that match played out.
Oh yeah, right? I mean, who would have thought that Rinky would get, or that Zapata Morales would get more games than Fucsovics? Like who had that on their betting card?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like who had Rinky to win every set 6-2 or better?
No. And I know you guys were all over Rinky just because of the price and like the fact that
who's you guys
matches. Like that was a great hit, to be honest.
Who else was on Rinky?
A lot of the guys on the Discord were on Rinky.
Okay.
So you got him at what, plus 240?
Yeah.
So I mean that was a great hit. But like Rinky had trouble putting away Pavel Kotov on hard court. Like that was 7-6 in the 4th. Like he didn't really prove anything to me. And it's like, just like, I wish you could like have Fucsovics and Rinky together with their shirts off. And like, you could pick a line based on that. Because like, if that was the case, Fucsovics would be like a 12-game favorite. Like, Medvedev was against Balazs.
That was a hilarious match, by the way. Watching Balazs try to play like Medvedev, like, yeah.
I think
it made me think like does the ATP need to do something about that rule? Like, I think there's something they could do too to make, like, I think they could have a rule be that like maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to like you have to have 2 wins on your protected rank before you can use one on a Grand Slam or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like some sort of rule around it. Like, fine, if you want to use it for like 250s, 500s, fine, but like, this is kind of a joke.
Total joke.
And Shardy was the same thing.
I mean, there are tons of guys that are playing challengers this week, which I would rather have in this tournament than playing in China right now.
I mean, Attila's a joke. Like, like I think he like this is beyond a new level. Like, this is a complete like there's probably 1,000 guys who are better than Attila.
Probably, yeah.
Like, there's probably some guys playing in M25s who I'd rather. Yeah. And like in terms of career too, right? Like in terms of career, like there's a whole ton of guys that I'd rather see in terms of career. That could use an extra qualifier spot being open or lucky loser spot being open for their career.
100%. I mean, yeah. I mean, this guy was totally just there for that 81,000, right? That's what
I mean, I guess credit to him, he did try for 3 sets.
I guess. I mean, he did say I'm sorry at the net.
Which is amazing. That's one of the most amazing like things of the tournament. Like,
I'm sorry for losing so badly to you. Like, Okay.
And the way he like did, the way he got like the crowd all excited after he like got to a drop shot, like down like 6-1, 6-0, 5-1 or whatever it was, or 6-1, 6-1, 5-1.
Jeez.
I will say I did hit the minus 12.5 on Medvedev at plus money. I even like, not only did I go with the minus 12, but I bought an extra half game. And I still hit it minus 12.5, which was amazing because like
Crazy. That's crazy.
well, it was crazy because I looked on I was looking at like that Bovada had like the 6-2 or better in each set special, and it was plus 150 for this match.
Wow.
But like that's it, plus 150 for the 6-2 or better.
Well, when
Like
it's a 12-game spread, then that's kind of what it's going to be, right?
yeah, I mean that's what we all were expecting. That's
Yeah.
what it was. But
All right, so on to the rest of the bottom half. Zhizhen Zhang beat JJ Wolf and Casper Ruud to get to the third round. I don't know how much of that match you saw against Wolf, but Zhang was the better player, especially through the first 3 sets. And then the third set, he was up 2 breaks, and Wolf came back.
wow.
And he saved me on the over there, which was which is like a massive sweat. Wolf pulled it out in a tiebreak in the third set. He won the 4th, and then Zhang came back and win the 5th. So the thing about Zhang is like I love backing him as a dog. I think you do too. And the match is kind of in his hands when he plays because he just hits really big from both sides. And when they're going in, it's tough for an opponent to do anything, to be honest, because it's just very like aggressive, potent ground strokes. When he's missing, he misses in bulk, right? Like when
And he
things
misses badly. Like balls start flying and like hitting the fence. And then not only that, but he also I noticed against Ruud, he's done this twice now, where he's had really suspect tactics at the end of sets.
Okay.
So he played some pretty bad. At the end of the second set, he played some pretty bad shots against. The 4th was a tank job, but the second set against Ruud, he played some pretty. I think he played 1 or 2 pretty bad drop shots, especially for him because like drop shot is not his thing.
No, it's not his thing. Right.
And I think he might have come in once when there was no like reason, especially for him to come in. Like, so yeah, he's a little like
happened against Wolf in the third set as well. You know, like as soon as it kind of got close to winning time and like a time to like put away a match, he just froze and he starts doing things tactically that are not in his playbook.
Yeah.
So
which is weird. I always find it weird when guys do that. When guys like were like big hitters, like you would think like it'd be like, all right, like it's winning time, we're going with the big shots. Like, you know, we're throwing the fastball, we're doing what got us here. Like
yeah, but I mean, I do think he should beat Rinky. I'm curious to see the line on that match. I actually didn't look at any third round lines yet.
Oh, okay, so this will be fun. We can play guess the lines.
Yep. Yeah.
Monorino. Tell me, Paul comes from 2 sets down.
Oh yeah, there's a Monorino we got to talk about. He's like playing.
Oh, Monorino's had a great season. Monorino's had a great season. Credit to Monorino.
So I posted a poll on the Twitter, the timeline. I don't know what your take is on it. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Who's had the best season so far? Monorino, Jarry, or Baez?
I mean, I guess first of all, it depends how we define it, right?
Well, the answer to the question kind of shows how you define it, because like Baez has, I think, more well, maybe he has the same amount of titles as Jarry, but he has those 250 titles. Right?
Does Baez only have 2 titles? He just has those 2?
This year.
I thought he had more.
Cordoba and 3. Cordoba, Kitchbull, and Winston-Salem.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right?
Yeah, I thought
Jarry had 2. I think Santiago and Geneva.
Did he win Geneva, Jarry?
Yeah, he won Geneva.
He did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then Manorino has Newport, right?
He has Newport, but like just kind of better overall results, like quarterfinal in Cincy and then like final in Mallorca.
Well, Baez is 30-20 on the year.
Okay.
Manorino is 31-24.
Okay.
Norrie is 34-15.
Give it to Yari.
Yeah, I think based on that, you'd have to give it to Norrie. I mean, how do you not?
Yeah, 2 titles, third round of Wimbledon,
Fourth round of Roland Garros.
third round here.
Say he won a match in Australia, which, given who we're talking about, like three wins and slams matters for like at this level.
Semis in Rio, 2 titles.
Semis in Rio, one Santiago. The semis, remember, that's when he lost to Alcaraz in that 3-setter.
Right.
And he actually could have beat Alcaraz.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I guess
Alcaraz tough in Wimbledon as well.
Yeah. I have to give it to Yari, but
what?
I guess you have to give that to Yari, but it's an interesting question.
It's an interesting question, but I think you have to give it to Yari.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious I guess we'll talk more about Monterino when we go through that match, but he continues to impress. So
yeah,
funky player to play, and the guy has amazing hands. I think he plays with the loosest racket on the tour.
Who makes sense given the way he hits the ball.
Crazy. It's crazy. But I think it's very underrated how quick he is with his hands. Yeah, as you were saying before, Tommy Paul, he came back from 2 sets to love down against Roman Safilin.
Yeah.
Good win. It wasn't overly physical. I think it was less than 3 hours, or maybe.
Yeah, it was 5 quick sets. It was 5 quick sets.
Yeah.
I'm not that worried about it for him in terms of the tournament. I feel like he does this. Fokina's had 2 easy wins, but weak competition, so nothing related to see there. Ben Shelton, another 3rd round appearance.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the team retirement was disappointing. Who did he win and beat in the first round? Oh, that was Guido Pella?
No. Oh, that was Harris. Harris beat Pella.
Oh, that's right. It was Pedro Cachin. That's
right. Yeah, the pick that I ended up not taking, but the 80-1 to win the quarter did not come through. Yeah. Which is fine. It's 80-1. That's gonna happen.
Right. Yeah, Shelton came out really, really sluggish. The first set, he just came out super nervous. Cachin blew him out of the water. It was 6-1. And then finally he just kind of got his teeth into the match, started serving better, and then Cachin just started missing a ton of balls. It was actually disappointing. I backed Cachin there, plus 6.5, and on the money line. I thought it was a good underdog spot. But yeah, credit to Shelton. He got through that. Karatsev, he beat
I think, did he beat Mio in the first round?
He beat Lechka in the first round, 3-3-3.
Oh no, Varias beat
right.
Yeah, he beat Lechka and Baena. Not really much to write home about there.
Yeah. Karatsev is just gonna litter the stat sheet. That's what he does, right?
Yeah.
So and Lechka's disappointing, man. I mean, the guy is pretty weak mentally. If you compare Lechka and Baez, for example, they're just mental makeup on the tennis court is just totally different. And Lechka has the physicality and has the tools necessary to be a top 20 player on the tour, and he's just not maximizing that. I felt like he did it for 1 month this year in Australia.
It hasn't been a great past 6 months for him. I'll give you that.
It's just mentally, I just don't like what he's doing.
He's still young. We'll give him time there. At least I will. Yeah, he hasn't looked good.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
The virus got Eubanks, which is sad.
Yeah, that was too bad.
Another defeat due to the virus.
Well, we cashed in thanks to the virus with Bonsai.
We did.
Right. Plus 175, baby.
Another prospect, Jakub Mensik, made the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Beat Droge, who was a really fun game, I think. Droge kind of chips and slices the ball and does a lot of fun stuff, but a lot of variety. But Mensik got him with a pretty basic, but just forehand backhand style game. I don't think he's like particularly. He's a really good player. He's 17, but it's not like a particularly like different game.
I was surprised that he beat Barrere. To be
I
honest.
was too. I was on the Barrere money line as well, and he beat him in 4.
4. Yeah, and it was Barrere was what, -130?
Yeah.
Life favorite, but like, Mensik is what's, I think he's 17, only played challengers. Like Barrere at least is like ATP level. And to come out and win that in the first round, that's impressive. And then to back it up, albeit against a qualifier, I mean, it's a really, really good run. And like his wins in qualifying were pretty good.
No, I mean, he's playing. He's clearly got talent, right? Like,
yes.
I admit I haven't seen a whole ton of him. I've seen like maybe a few games of him.
Yep.
But he seems to have like a pretty basic game, but like really solid off of both wings. Really good forehand. Like, not much on the serve. I don't know, just like not much on the serve, not a ton of variety, but a really good forehand and a half decent backhand.
Well, this is a new level against Fritz, so I'm not expecting him to get through that. Obviously,
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, like I've learned nothing about Taylor Fritz. Like I'm not impressed by beating Stevie Johnson and Juan Pablo Varias.
Agreed.
But what, speaking of Americans, what happened to Mackie McDonald
against Borna Gojo?
This is not a really frustrating result. Like,
I think Mackie, what my takeaway with him is that like he struggles to string together good results. Like he has one good match and then like he can't back it up. He did this against Cincinnati. Like he had a really good win against Hoffman and then just completely laid an egg against Monterino.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just very.
But it's not. I don't know. It didn't feel like he was that amazing against Felix either. Like it just felt like Felix just isn't very good. So
yeah, I agree.
don't
know. But like, in Canada, like good wins against Rublev and Raonic, and then just completely laid an egg against Fokina. Like with Mackie,
complete egg lay. Like Fokina tried to let him back in that match, and Mackie wouldn't let him do it.
Exactly, and it's like, what Mackie does in one match is not a representative of his true form. I think betting, that's kind of what I have to take away with it. It's like, just because he had a really good previous match doesn't mean he's going to play that well in the next match. And with him, it's either really good or just absolutely atrocious. There's no real in between, I feel, with Mackie.
Oh, I don't know if that's true. I actually think it's more the opposite. That like, I feel like he's kind of a true zero. And like he's just like at his best, like sometimes he'll annoy the opponent and the opponent will make a bunch of mistakes. But like that flat game is interesting, but he's not as good at it as Manarino. And he doesn't really seem like he really attacks behind it. So it just feels like he's just like a gatekeeper.
Yeah, but when his flat balls are missing, it's so.
Well, sometimes it just goes off the rails, right? It's like at his best, he's like a gatekeeper, and sometimes he just goes off the rails. Like,
yeah,
because like he beat Rublev, but I'm not surprised. Like that style matchup, I just don't think is very good for Rublev. In fact, I think I'm pretty sure I backed Mackie there. We had talked about it. We definitely both backed him against Felix. That was one of our plays of the day,
right?
As a dog, like
we'll back
so
anyone
like,
at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's not impressive. Yeah.
I just like don't like what I see from him in terms of like having a good result and then just completely laying an egg the next day.
Hear you. I think he is what he is though, which is like a top. He's like a below average, but definitely card carrying ATP member.
Yeah.
Like on clay, he's really bad. On clay, he's worse. But like on hard court and grass, he's like somewhere near the bottom of the top 50. And like that's what he is.
Yeah. You know what Mackie actually might be? He might actually be a sneaky good under guy. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because like just I look at his results, like in Canada it was 3-4 against Karatsev,
Well, he doesn't play a lot of long sets. Because I think I think it's because he doesn't really have like weapons. Like big weapons, right? Like that flat game's annoying. The flat ball is more, I think it's more of annoying than it's like a weapon.
Agreed. And then
I don't think his serve is that good. So like
he just totally goes off the rails and he'll lose 3-3. Like he did.
Right.
So there,
but like you're really not at risk with Mackey is like the 2-set over.
You're not. He plays very.
I mean, you are with everyone, right? You can't talk in absolutes. Yeah. Like he went 23 games the first 2 sets against Felix, but like compared to a lot of guys, it certainly doesn't feel that way. It feels like the over-under is basically like the 2 or 3 set line.
Yeah. But another thing is he has no plan B at all.
Well, but like
I know you get into this argument a lot, like with me. It's like most guys don't have a plan B, and I guess you're right.
I guess, but I was actually going to go slightly differently with this. Like, he is who he is. Like, he's not like what is the expectation, right? Like,
I just want to see a little bit more slice, a little bit more, maybe a few drop shots, change the pace, some more air on the ball. It's all just like flat ground stroke from the baseline. That's all he is. I'm not saying like change how you play tennis.
Yeah.
It's like variation in your game.
Yeah, I get it. I
watched that Mackey Felix match just because we had a play of the day on it, and like it was really boring tennis, to be honest. Like,
I agree. I had the same take after the match. Like, it was like it wasn't like amazing Mackey. It was more like not great Felix.
Right. But it was the same tactically from start to finish. There were no adjustments. It was just
from both guys.
Yeah, from both guys. It was just who was doing what they do better than the other, and Mackey did it for longer. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing interesting about that match. So
yeah, I think agree.
Yeah. And then Djokovic is Djokovic. There's nothing to say. Djere. Who did he beat?
I mean, Djere's playing a lot better, man. Like we talked about a little bit over the past month on several pods, but he's playing really well.
Yeah, I think that Winston-Salem loss against Baez, he just didn't want to be there. I think that's what it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right, like he was fed up with the rain, and he just wanted to get to New York, and he just like basically got the prize money and tanked that match.
Yeah.
So that was my takeaway. But otherwise, he's been good. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I actually think this is Djokovic's toughest match. I think it might actually be tougher than Fritz. Actually,
it's close. Fritz is just so much better. Like they're kind of similar players, and Fritz is just so much better.
The fact that you're saying that it's even close is like kind of a knock on Fritz, in my opinion.
I just think that like the matchup with like because like Fritz is like they're similar players. Fritz is much better than Djere at like what they both want to do. Mm-hmm. I think that Djere has a little more variety.
Okay, fair. It's fair.
I'm not saying that Djere has a lot of variety. I'm saying he's a little bit more than Taylor Fritz.
Yeah, which is not saying much.
It's not, but at least it's like something, right? Like
yeah. So in the bottom half of the draw, who do you think has the poses the biggest threat to Novak?
I'm gonna go Tiafoe. At least he's a really good athlete. At least he has weapons. At least he has weapons off both wings. The serve isn't bad. It's not an amazing serve, and I know you don't love it as much, but he's got a good serve. And he can get the crowd behind him, get the energy behind him. That might get into Novak's head a little bit, at least as much as like anything else. Mm-hmm. Like that crowd will go nuts if he plays Djokovic in the semis. That will be an insane New York crowd. It'll be probably above what Federer was.
And they'll leave disappointed.
But they'll do things that are really annoying. They'll be very unclassy tennis fans, like, and that might get in Novak's head. Like, I'm not saying anybody is a good shot, right? But like who do you think is a better shot? Tommy Paul has 0 shot. Tommy Paul might be the best player, but he
Yeah.
has no shot in that matchup versus Djokovic. Fokina would be fun, but like Fokina, no, like just mentally not good enough.
Mentally not good enough. See, I don't really trust Tiafoe mentally either, to be honest. I'm gonna tend to agree with you on Tiafoe, but not because of the tennis. It's because of the crowd and the other
Okay.
factors. But if you're just saying tennis, I'd probably go Fokina. I think he has the better forehand, Fokina.
At least he has the forehand. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like you have to be able to put away points on the on the forehand, and that's where
Yeah.
Tiafoe struggles actually.
And at
And
least he can run a lot of balls down Fokina too.
he can, yeah,
Right. He
defensive,
could like if he's playing well, he can stay in rallies. Like,
right?
yeah.
And like Fokina is not going to win a lot of points on like with his serve, um, but neither is Tiafoe really. Like on a slowish hard court where it's going to be probably at night, you know,
Yeah.
where it's even slower, and Ash tends to play slower than the outer courts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I'd be I'd be surprised if that goes even like gets to 5 sets even if Djokovic plays Tiafoe.
Oh, so would I. Like, I mean, like, I think it's like 50-50 for Tiafoe to take me, probably
Set,
50-50 for Tiafoe to take a set. You know what I mean? Like, it's
right?
probably more than 50-50 for Tiafoe to take a set. Probably the most likely, but it's probably the most likely result is 3-0.
So
Like, it's
what
probably,
odds would you need to bet Djokovic to not lose a set before the final? It's an interesting question, right?
yeah, I'm trying to think through it.
Mhm.
Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10-1, if not higher.
Whoa. Before the final, not like during the final.
Right before the final. Probably like between maybe not 10, maybe 8-9. Like,
See, I take it at 5 to 1.
okay, because like the way I see it is like I think Djere could win a set. I don't think it's particularly likely, but I think it's possible. Um, I think that
Actually, Vesely might be the toughest matchup for Novak. Before
Vesely's gonna be completely gassed out. Like Vesely's gonna have nothing left.
I'm
Like,
joking. I'm joking.
okay,
But like, yeah, I mean, Vesely, I think he might be the only player in this draw that has a winning record against Novak.
that's true. That's true. He has beaten. You're right. You're right. You're right. You know, not like in all honesty, like there would be some sort of chance on clay. If this was clay, I think Vesely would have like some sort of shot to take one set.
Okay, I mean,
But
Vesely was beating him in like Monte Carlo and Dubai, so it's not like a slam is just a totally different animal.
I hear you, Manny. I'm saying like some like like I'm saying at least he's lefty. He's got big weapons. He's kind of I don't know. He's a little bit of like a different challenge.
Okay, that's fair.
Like he might have a better shot than Fritz if it was on clay.
That I agree with. That I agree with. But
Like
yeah, no, it's a really weak draw for Novak. I mean, I would be.
we said this at the beginning of the tournament. Like this isn't anything new, and I guess that's kind of why it's almost like a bored kind of trite take.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, so that does it for our round 1 and round 2 recap.
Yeah, I
Quick,
think we'll take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and do the round 2 or round 3 preview. We might
yes,
have all 16 matches to preview by this point because we took so long.
yes.
We're so long winded.
All right, welcome back to the show. So we are back to preview the round of 32 at the U.S. Open. So Brad,
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. Brad, have you looked at these lines?
I have.
You have? Okay, so we'll play guess the lines. I looked at the first line, unfortunately.
Oh, you did all right. So yeah, so it's Tommy Paul and Fokina. Paul's a 1.5 game favorite. The money line is -130 for Tommy Paul, plus 110 for Fokina, and the over/under is 39.5. What are your thoughts on the matchup, Manny?
This is probably my favorite matchup of the third round. I am super looking forward to this. I just love when these guys play just because like it's such a back and forth. There's choking involved. And there's like a set could be 5-1 and like for either guy, and it's not they're not out of the woods, right? Like someone can come back from a crazy deficit, and lose a lead, and like it just feels like every point or every game is kind of weighing in the balance here, which is why I'm so excited for it. Plus, there are like two really athletic, good tennis players. So it's just going to make for some like entertaining points as well. So this is like my favorite matchup of the third round. I'm super hyped for it. In terms of the betting aspect with that line, I'd probably just go Paul money line at -130, to be honest. I think he'll find a way through it, Paul. I think the crowd might get on his side, which might help him. My other lean here is the over 39. And honestly, if I could play like break props, or if I could find a book that has break props, I'll just hammer all the overs on the break props. Because I think there are going to be a ton of breaks here. So those are my takeaways here. I don't know how aligned you are on that.
Yeah, so in terms of the tennis, like I think it's easy to look at Fokina and go, wow, he's got 2 wins with under 18 games won in the tournament. But if you look at who he beat, it's Marcos Giron and Juan Manuel Cerundolo.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah, whereas like Tommy Paul, yeah, he just came back from 2 sets to love down. But like Safiulin's kind of a legit player.
Yeah, he's
the last 3 sets weren't really that close. Like Paul was down 2 sets, but I'm not sure how much it felt like Paul was really in trouble.
Safiulin actually reminds me of Xi Jinping, whereas like when he's like striking the ball really well, like he's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't really take too much stock in that the previous matches into this one. I'm kind of viewing this match as a single entity.
Yeah, I'm not either. And Paul played so well in the lead up that I'm not worried about it because of that fact. So I mean, I guess in terms of the betting, so I agree with you on it being my favorite match of the third round. I think it's also I think the thing that you forgot to mention is it will be great tennis. Like there'll be great drama and great tennis.
Yeah.
Like and that's something that we don't get a whole lot of. Like especially like the drama of sometimes bad things happening with great tennis at the same time.
Right. No,
which is amazing.
That's amazing theater. Yeah.
Like there'll be some comedic moments. There'll be some great tennis. Like they're both terrific athletes. There's like ridiculous points. Like, it'll be a lot of fun, especially for a third rounder. I've got 2 bets here. The first is you can parlay the Paul money line and over 39.5 game. Well, I want to play. There's a whole bunch of plays I want to make here. I like a lot of stuff. So first, I love the Paul money line at -130. I really don't see why this line is this close.
Me too. I thought he would be -150, -160 in that area.
At least not further. Like I think you could put this at like, given that Paul's at home, and I don't think the crowd helps him that much, but I think it does help him a little bit. I think you could put this all the way out at like, you could put this close, honestly, to like -220 +170 or something. I don't think it'd be ridiculous.
I'd agree with that.
Like I do. I just don't like. I think like Paul's ranked higher because he's a better player, and I think he's actually like. I think he's actually more mentally stable than Fokina.
I agree with that.
And he's at home. So yeah, I think this is so I like the Paul money line.
Paul is pretty stable. It's just when he's ahead. Whereas like with Fokina, it's all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So
Paul in the over 38.5 games is at +210 if you parlay that. That's another play I like, because I like the over also.
I do too.
And then I also like 5 sets is at +240, and Paul to win in the 5th is at plus 500.
So Paul 3-2 is plus 500.
Yeah.
What's the 5-set line?
240.
I'd probably lean, like, if it goes 5 sets, that's when I kind of think it could go up either way. So I would not lean on a side if it goes 5 and more take just the 5 sets.
Okay. I hear you there. Yeah, I mean,
my favorite play is the Paul money line. That's going to be our play of the day. And then like my secondary play will be probably the over and then like the Paul plus the over.
Yeah.
And not do the sets because like I think this could be 4, like where it's definitely not 3, but I could see like a 4th set where someone's like, the player that's down 2 sets to 1 is ahead and then gets tight and then the other guy kind of wins it in a tiebreak at the end, and like whether it's 4 or 5 is kind of like 50-50. So
yeah.
I probably just
I might stake this 2 units on the Paul money line and go like half unit each. Because I also don't want to be like too overstaked on this match. This doesn't feel like a match you really want to be too high staked on.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite actually play, I'm looking for break props here because I think that there's just going to be so many breaks here. Let me see what the break prop is at. So the over on breaks is 7.5 here. That seems like it's juiced. It's minus 138. Over 4.5 breaks for Paul is plus 100, which actually seems great. And the over 3.5 breaks for Fokina is minus 150.
I really like the over 4.5 breaks for Paul, man.
Me too. So that's going to be another play for me. So plays of the day. Do you want to?
I think the Paul money line will be the play of the day. We'll keep that as the play of the day, and then the other stuff. I'll probably also play the Paul plus the over, and I'll probably also play the 5-set line.
Okay. I'm gonna play the Paul plus the over as a secondary play, and then I'm gonna play this over 4.5 breaks for Paul.
Okay. Cool.
So we're kind of on the same page there.
Yeah, I think we're pretty well aligned on that match.
Yeah, we're aligned.
Next match is another American. Ben Shelton versus Aslan Karatsev. Do you want to guess the line?
Sure. I'm gonna guess that Shelton is probably like a minus 170 favorite.
It's longer than that. Minus 145. Karatsev is plus 120 on the money line. The spread's 2 games. The over under is 40.
Actually, like Shelton money line here as well. I just think like Karatsev is just too, like both of these guys are erratic from the ground, but I think Shelton has a way better serve. Like, as much as we love how that Paul Fokina match is going to be, first of all, I'm so glad that match is on Ash court because Ash has gotten the worst tennis matches in the first 4 days.
I know. They finally picked a decent tennis match. I think they got lucky because it has an American, but they finally picked a decent tennis match.
Totally agree. As good as that match is going to be from a pure tennis perspective, this match is going to be the total opposite.
Yeah, I have no interest in watching this match.
Me neither. All right, now that I know the line, I'll take a look at it. Shelton minus 145, 2-game favorite. Over under is 40. I hate laying games with Shelton just because his break game is so bad. So I don't really have any intention on doing that. What's Shelton minus 1.5 sets? That's probably where I'd go. Yeah, plus
Plus
115.
115.
That's probably the bet I'm going to take here. What's your thought on this match?
Shelton and the over 39.5 is sitting out there at 225. I think that's my play. Yeah, I think that's my play.
Yeah. Good look too.
Yeah, I think and then as a secondary play, I like the over 40. It's a big over, but man, this match just screams over. Over and everything. Over on unforced errors, over on winners, over on
Over and unforced errors more than anything. There was a
there'll be
lot
winners
that I'd
too.
smack that.
There'll be winners too.
Yeah, true.
But it'll be they're both gonna these both guys are gonna fill up the stat sheet. There's not gonna be a lot of forced errors, let's put it that way.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I'm surprised that the Shelton to win and over is longer than the Shelton to win and the under.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
surprised at that. So
39.5 doesn't feel like a lot in this match. That's 4 sets with the average set going 10 games. I don't know, man. I feel like I could see some long sets here.
how about the over 9.5 in the first set at minus 155? I know it's juiced, but that seems like really
9.5 always scares me though, man. I hate 9.5. Like, I actually way prefer playing 10.5. So it's like 10.5, you know what you're playing. Like 9.5, you get screwed over by serve order so often, don't you?
That's gonna be another play for me. Over 10.5 games in the first set is plus 185.
Yeah, that feels really good to me too.
That feels really good, man. Like I thought that would be like plus 150. To get plus 185, that's really good.
Yeah, 2 tie breaks in the match is 325. I don't like that as much.
No.
First set tie break is 300. First set tie break is 3-1.
I prefer the 10.5.
Okay.
Plus
I prefer the tie break. I think, man. Sheldon especially has no breaking, but he does have a big serve.
Yeah, but he's also really erratic from the ground. And like when nerves come into play, when it's like 5-all.
Yeah, he still depends on the nerves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it. It's 3-1.
Okay. I actually also like Shelton over 20.5 games at even money.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Yeah, these to me are better plays than the 1.5 sets, minus 1.5 sets now.
Yeah.
I like Shelton over 20.5 at even money.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go 1.5 units total on this, half a unit each on the over 40, the Shelton over combo, and the and the first set tiebreak. Actually, I might just go 2 units and just go 1 unit on the Shelton over combo. But man, I like that. That over is so tasty.
What, the over 20.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, Rublev
No, I'm saying the over of 40 for the full match.
Oh, for the full match.
Just over 40, yeah.
I do think Shelton finds a way through, though.
I do too.
Yeah. All right. Next match. We're aligned.
Manarino and Tiafoe. The spread's 5.5.
Oh, wait. Are we doing a play of the day on Shelton and over combo?
Yeah, that's a play of the day.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Okay. All right, next match.
You want to go ahead and guess the money line?
Which match is it again?
Tiafoe Manarino.
I'm guessing Tiafoe is probably like a minus 250 favorite.
325. Tiafoe's minus 325. Manarino's plus 260. The spread's 5.5. The over-under is 37.5 games.
Okay. I'm slightly off, but I'm a little bit down on Tiafoe and I'm pretty high on Mannarino. That being said, home crowd, all that, this is not the best spot for Mannarino. What's Tiafoe minus 1.5 sets?
It's heavily juiced.
Shit.
Heavily juiced. Minus 185.
So my lean here, looking at these lines now, it's Tiafoe 3-1 and plus 260. Seems appetizing.
Yeah.
I do think Mannarino wins a set. I wish the over 3.5 sets was less juiced. Minus 150 is heavy. What's your lean here?
I mean, I got nothing. Like, this is exactly where I would set this spread if I was the book. So I got nothing. And I feel like the 37.5 over under on the games is really hard to play. Like, in either direction. It's just such a weird. It's basically kind of like the 3.5. Yeah.
Like, I thought Tiafoe would be slightly less as a favorite, but that being said, like, I don't really want to back Mannarino in this spot, just like knowing what he's going to be facing, right?
Yeah.
Like with the crowd and all that. So it's not like I just don't. If it was like anywhere else, I would surely back Mannarino in some capacity here, but just like not in this environment.
The other issue you have is that I'm guessing this is on a stadium.
It's on Armstrong during the day.
It's not as bad. I mean, it's probably like of the places where this match can be played in New York, that's probably the best.
Yeah.
What's the weather like tomorrow?
Question.
Because this isn't the day, right? This is like a noon
it's
match.
sunny and 77 degrees. It's good weather.
Nah, but it's too cool, man. It's been cool all week.
Yeah. How about the over 9.5? You don't like over 9.5, but that seems appetizing. Over 9.5 at minus 135 in the first set.
Standard.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like the very standard line I feel like they put out if they don't know anything. They just put it minus over 9.5 and minus 135.
I mean, the fact that I think it goes 4 sets, I guess Tiafoe over 20.5 at plus 105 is pretty good. But I prefer the Tiafoe 3-1. I think that's my only play here. Tiafoe 3-1 at plus 260.
I got nada.
Nada? Okay. Sounds good.
I think this is also a really hard match to read. I think like Mannarino's not a clown, but at this age, he's a little bit liable to tank a set if he has to. Tiafoe's liable to clown around and lose a set he shouldn't. Like, there's just a lot. I don't know. You got a crowd here. There's just a lot going on.
So they're 1-1 head to head.
But they're both old, right? Both the head-to-heads are old.
Yeah, the last time they played was in 2018, and Tiafoe won in 4 sets.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually a similar game script. Like Tiafoe might clown and Mannarino might squeeze a set in. And that match they played in 2018, I know it was a long time ago. It was 6-1, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. So I could see something similar like that. But all right. Let's move on. Next match?
Next match. Would love to get your thoughts on this. Zhizhen Zhang versus Rinky.
So I think Zhang should be slightly favored here. Probably like minus 140. It's my guess.
You're damn close. It's minus 155. And Rinky's plus 130. You probably forgot to take into account the juice. It's 155 plus 130. It's a 2.5 game favorite for Rinky. Total is 39.
Wait. Rinky is the favorite?
No. Zhang is the favorite. 2.5 game favorite for Zhang. Yeah.
I got excited for a minute. I was hoping Rinky would be the favorite because I would love to back Zhang. But if Zhang is the favorite, like I just don't like backing Zhang as a favorite, you know?
Yeah.
This actually seems like a stay away match for me. I might actually go under 38.5. This seems like a decent under spot. But the match is in Zhang's racket 120%. Like if he's bombing winners, Rinky has no shot. But if he's missing, then Rinky can win. You know, like I don't know what kind of Zhang is gonna show up, right?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be the one that blasts 85 unforced errors, or is it gonna be the one that has 50 winners? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're staying away.
I'm not sure here. So when I initially priced this out, I had Zhang at like minus probably somewhere like the minus 180 range.
Okay.
With Rinky at plus 150. So which is close enough to where the book's at that I probably wouldn't play it. Maybe I would play Zhang in some capacity. I just don't know how. But that's without factoring in the fatigue angle for Zhang. Zhang's played 2 long 5-setters.
True.
4 hours, 4.5 versus Wolf, 3:30 versus Rude. I get more worried about guys coming off of 2 5-setters than 1. I feel like 1 you can get through, but if you play 2 in a span of 3 days, I feel like that's a lot to ask.
Good point.
Especially for a younger dude, especially for a guy who's got to be pretty precise in his explosion to get the ball in because you know he's going to have to blast away. So
this match is earlier in the day, so the turnaround is even less.
Yeah, and Zhang played late into the night.
Yeah.
On Wednesday night. I'm probably gonna go Rinky moneyline here. I'm gonna ride the Rinky train.
Really?
I just don't know what else to play. Like, I think it's the only play here because like, I'm too like I said, like I think that the fatigue angle is partially baked into this line. So I think like if not, I'd have this at like, I don't know, call it 3.25 for Zhang. But it's just a matter of how much do I bake in, like how much do I think the fatigue matters here?
So my play here is the under 38.5. I'm gonna go under because I just think like this match could have some lopsided sets. I don't think tie breaks are in play here. Plus, I think if Zhang is firing well, this is probably straight sets in his favor. But if he's not, I think Rinky could win in 3 or 4. Like I don't really see a long match here.
The problem is, man, like you saw Zhang against Rude, right? Like Zhang he can actually turn it around in the same match. Like he can play a set terrible and then play fine the next set.
But Rinky doesn't also possess the same quality that Rude has.
Straight sets either way is plus 155.
I prefer playing the under because I could still get there with 4 sets.
It's 38.5, right? Could.
Yeah.
Could.
I thought this line would be set like 37.5 or 37 even, but not 38.5. So I like the under.
Well, I mean, they're telling you that they definitely both think both players are going to win a set, right? And like, it's just a matter of will any sets go longer than 10 games. Hard to say. I mean, your logic is pretty good, I think. You know what I mean? It's just so hard to say with Zhang, man. It's just always so hard to say. Like I said, I mean, it could go 5 sets because Zhang could play 2 good sets and 3 bad ones, or 2 bad ones and 3 good ones.
Right.
Like anything, it's Zhang Zhang. Like anything could happen. So I feel like you want to be on something plus money.
Okay.
But like Zhang is definitely the better player. Like it's just
Yes.
a matter of how much do you weight in the fatigue factor. You know what I mean? So I think that's the only question here.
Well, that's another reason why I like the under.
Yeah, because if Zhang is gassed out, Rinky could beat him 3-0. I agree.
I think those are the only two logical plays here, either the Rinky money line or the under. So
Yeah, I
I'll
think
take
so
one
too.
of them. I'll take the under. You take the Rinky money line, and we'll go there.
All right.
Hopefully, we both hit.
We could.
Yeah. Certainly could. What's the next match?
Stricker and Bonsai.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, like this is the match that I think this is going to be a worse tennis match than Karatsev and Shelton to watch. Like at least Karatsev and Shelton will have some highlights. This might not even have highlights.
Which court is this being played on? Like court 8?
17.
Okay. I'd say Stricker is probably like a -140 favorite in that area.
You're damn close. -130. Bonsai's at +110. Yeah, the total's 40.5. Stricker's a 1-game favorite.
I have a tough time backing Stricker here, coming off that really good win, long 5-setter. I don't know if he's going to be able to back that up with another strong result.
And here, I actually don't know how much we'll be able to back it up mentally either.
Agreed.
This could be mentally and physically. The other challenge I got here is Stricker played 2 3-setters in the qualies. You forget that too. He had to qualify.
Yeah, true.
He's played 5 matches in the past 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
2 of which have been. I mean, he had a long 3-setter with Lamas Ruiz, and this 5-setter with Tsitsipas.
That being said, Bonsai, he's been better. He beat Halis and Eubanks, but like I don't take too much stock in the Eubanks match. Eubanks is kind of a slight fade right now, plus that virus. And I just don't really want to back him here. I think looking at these lines, I have another pretty clear play here. And it's going to be the under 40.5 at -110. I also think that that's a very, very high number, considering like neither of these guys are like serve bots, I would say.
Stricker has a big serve.
They have a pretty good serve, but like they're breakable. It's not like they're not. I also don't think that Stricker is going to be able to handle like a really, really long match again. So like, again, I think this is a spot where you take the under or the Bonsai money line as a slight dog.
Yeah, it's funny because it's another spot. It's another fatigue spot, right? Like it's another spot where like no fatigue, and I've probably got. But man, honestly, like, is Stricker really that much better than Bonsai? Like, I'm not saying Bonsai is good, but like,
but is Bonsai back to like Australia form? Because if he's like that level, then Bonsai is better.
The 4 seconds Eubanks was not impressive, but it's always hard to judge against Eubanks, right? Like Eubanks also makes you look bad with like the whole because he just a zillion big shots, like.
But the win against Halis was decent. Like he's definitely on the right track. Like he's trending towards getting back to where he was. Bonsai. I don't know if he's really get like that close yet. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yep.
But like typically when there's a fatigue spot, that's kind of an under spot for me. And then like the fact that this is so high at 40.5, you could get there easily with a 4-set.
You could. I think a couple of cautions in the under. I mean, these guys are so, like, according to the books, these guys are so evenly matched, right? So that's part of why this is 40.5. Is because they're so evenly matched. There's a decent chance of 5 sets, and then you're screwed. The other piece is, I mean, Stricker does have the big serve, and he does come forward. He does attack off the forehand really well. Like,
but he can also spray, right? Both of these guys can spray. So like, I don't know. All right, sorry guys for a slight technical glitch, but we're back. So you were explaining to me about something regarding this Stricker Bonsai match.
So to go 5 sets, that's my first concern with going the unders. It could go 5 sets. These guys are, I mean, like, I actually do think these guys are pretty even as tennis players. Like, this is a scary match, man. I don't know how to hit this at all. I mean, my initial take was the Bonsai money line just based on the Stricker fatigue spot. But it's only it's
plus 110. It's a very short underdog spot.
I'm probably gonna hit it. It's probably like a really minimum value. It's definitely not of the play of the day. It's a very low confidence bet. It might even only be half a unit. Like it might, but it's like it's yeah, but it's
okay.
Stricker's fun, but like we talked about this before, right? There's a difference between being like fun. This is what I kind of think. There's a difference between being fun and being good. Like he's got, I mean, the backhand is still a huge hole. And the movement's not great either. I mean, and like it's easy to say that because he's a little bit of a bigger dude and he's definitely carrying some extra weight, but like he looks like the German kid from Willy Wonka.
He does. He actually does.
Augustus or whatever his name is.
Kid from Willy Wonka who sings Whitney Houston.
Yeah, exactly. I do love the fact that he was singing Whitney Houston, though, man. That was pretty awesome.
That was really cool. And he closed it out in style, to be honest.
He did close it out, so you can't bash him.
No, you can't. I'm going to stick with the under here just because of the fatigue spot and the fact that that number is so high. I don't really trust these guys to like hold consistently. I do think there are going to be some breaks here. So I don't know, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go the Bonsai money line, but it's not a high confidence play.
No, it's not. All right, next match.
Yeah. Oh, I got to pull it up for you. Jeez. The next match is, and we continue. Borna Gojo versus Yuri Vesely.
Oh God, that's even worse than. I would be disappointed in that match, like breaking that match down like as a first rounder, let alone a third rounder. I'm gonna say Gojo is probably a minus 165 or 170 favorite kind of thing.
It's minus 325. Vesely is plus 260. Gojo's a 4.5 game favorite. The total over under is 40.5.
It's another under spot. I'm gonna go under 40.5 there. I don't trust Vesely. Like I thought it would be closer just because like it's Borna Gojo. Like I call him Borna oh no. Because maybe I should stay away from his match because like every time I bet his match, it's like, oh no.
He is so serve reliant, man.
He is, but the fact that Vesely, or this is another fatigue spot. Vesely played that crazy 5-setter against who was it? Cerundolo.
It's not just that you forget he went 5 sets with Quackard in the first round.
True, that's a good point. So I think he's gonna be gassed, and like, there's no way that he's gonna play 40 games and be okay.
No, he's just gonna retire if he has to go 40 games. Like,
then I get a push.
I mean, he was gassing out against Cerundolo. He was up 2 sets and couldn't make it to the finish line.
So I mean, if he can't finish, then it's a push, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the clear play here.
I'm staying away entirely. Like,
Okay.
I don't like. I will avoid things because of retirements, but I don't really back things like hoping for retirements. I think that's a I think that's I don't know if that's really a great way to like make bets. I mean, it probably is mathematically, but man, it's But
well,
I don't see
Vesely
how Vesely's going to have any energy.
Yeah, but for you to lose that bet, Vesely has to play 40 games. And he's definitely going to tap out before the 40 game mark hits.
I know. You might be right.
It's definitely not over. There's no way in hell.
Oh, I mean, you've hit on the only you pride yourself on finding the best line in every match. You found the only playable line. So congratulations. Like, no, I mean honestly, because like, what else are you gonna hit? Like,
I never want to lay games with Gojo because like that's gonna be Borna. Oh no.
Well, right? It's not just that, it's how is he gonna break serve?
Exactly.
So like, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play Vesely because I don't know. Like, I think Vesely is like plus 265 to not make it through the match.
Right.
Like,
but I don't want to play a money line if he's minus 325. I don't want to risk that and like get a push, or like, well, no, risk that and just make very little. If you get,
I don't want to take minus 325 on Born to Gojo. Like, I don't believe in Born to Gojo enough to do that. Like, I'm staying away because like there's the other thing too is like this is only in my mind, like the fatigue line is baked in pretty heavy here. Like, I think if there's no fatigue spot here, I'd be all over Vesely. Like, I think like the line, remember you originally said like,
that's going to be probably what it would be without fatigue.
Yeah, like less than 200. I think without fatigue, I'd have it at something less than 200. So like, Vesely's good enough as a tennis player that this line is way too short, but I just don't think he can play. I mean, I really like Vesely's hardly like he was injured forever. Now he's coming back and he's going to play a third consecutive match after playing 2 5-setters.
Yeah. I mean, if Vesely wasn't fatigued, it would never be Gojo 3-0 at plus 155. Like that would just like Gojo doesn't win.
That's the only other play here. If you wanted something plus money, you could play the Gojo plus 155 on a Vesely fatigue spot, but like Vesely might be able to play okay for one set. He might be able to play okay for the first or second set. So I'm a little nervous about that.
True. Also, it's hard to like with fatigue, you don't really know how fatigued they are, right? Like
no, you don't. So it's so hard to put so hard to put fatigue into a line.
I'm gonna just hit the under. I can't believe I'm hitting like three. The last 3 matches we talked about, I'm going under.
Yeah,
like it's weird, but like I just feel like that's the best line.
Well, they're all fatigue spots, man. All fatigue spots.
All right.
Next match is no better. Jakob Mensik against Taylor Fritz.
Fritz has to be like a 9-game favorite.
It's only 7.
Whoa.
The money line is minus 1,400 for Fritz, plus 775 for Mensik, and the total is 33.5.
I think I'm gonna go minus 7. Like, this is the end of the road for Mensik. Right? This is the kind of match where he's out there, 3rd round, 9th session on Armstrong. He's going to try to put on a show, right? Like, but he knows that his chances of winning the actual match are minimal, right? Fritz, from a breaking perspective, is just better, right? So, like, how is Varias much worse than Mensik? Like Varias was a 9-game dog.
He's so play dependent, right? Like at least Vencik's young.
Okay.
I think he's 17, Vencik.
17, yeah.
Yeah, he's a 17-year-old.
Well, he's
Actually,
definitely...
no, he turns his 18th birthday is this morning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So kind of cool. He officially becomes an adult,
It's
and
pretty
now
cool.
he gets to play an adult in tennis.
Yeah, a stiff adult.
He gets to play tennis with the big kids.
I actually don't mind like under 12 and a half games for Menzik. Like winning 12 game that means he has to get to 4 games in each set and like actually get to 5 in one of them. Right, for me to lose that bet.
Yeah.
I do think like a 6-2 or a 6-1 is in play here. And then if he gets that, if Fritz wins a set 6-2 or 6-1, then Menzik has to win a set for me to lose that bet. So that's what I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna hit Menzik to win under 12 and a half games at even money. I actually prefer
I
that.
don't think the under here of 33 and a half. 6, 4, and 4 gets you the under. Like in order for that to miss, you either need Menzik to win a set or you need multiple 7-5s.
Six,
So I think
four, four, that's 10, that's 14 game. No, 6.
the 30. 6, 4, 4, 4, and 4 is 30. It's way under the 33 and a half.
Yeah.
It's basically Menzik to win a set.
Right. Menzik under 12 and a half. 6, well, yeah, 6, 4, and 4.
4, 4, and 4. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna keep on the trend. I'm gonna go with that under 33 and a half.
Yeah, I have this as a stay away, but I might play the under 33 and a half. That's the only question mark. Is that I think that's the only playable line, to be honest. I just hate these how bad is player A gonna kill player B? But man, Fritz really should beat Menzik down. Like this is the type of player he should destroy.
Exactly. Like I don't see how Menzik wins a set here. What's Fritz and straights?
Minus 155.
No. Because there a 6-2 or 6-1 is in play here, so then the under is better.
Yeah.
All right. So 4 consecutive matches, I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm tempted to go the under here on the games as well.
Okay. All right, next match.
The nightcap. Djere and Djokovic.
I'm guessing Djokovic is like a 7.5 or 8 game favorite.
9.5.
Whoa.
Now it's like 9.25 because it's 9.5 at minus 135, and Djokovic is plus 105 at the 9.5. You can also put the spread at 9. Sorry, that's it. Wait, what? That's messed up. Yeah, this is messed up. But yeah, so that's 9.5. But it's basically like 9 and a quarter or something. Because Djokovic actually plus money at the minus 9.5.
Played once before on clay in Belgrade. Djokovic's home tournament. He won.
But remember, Djokovic was not playing well last year. That's when he got killed by Rublev.
Right. So can't really put that into play here.
The money line is 18. Joe, you can get Djere at 18-1 to win. You can bet $20,000 on Novak Djokovic to win 100. If your heart desires, you can bet your entire bankroll and win half a unit.
No, not doing that. Wouldn't advise any of our viewers to do that either.
I would not either.
Yeah. We know it's Djokovic, but like, he could get hurt. He can roll an ankle. Like, yeah, no, don't do that. Let's see.
The total is 28.5. They're kind of all the same thing, to be honest.
What's Djere to win a set? Just out of curiosity. If it's like plus 200 or better, I think I'm going to take that.
It is. It's 275.
I think just on principle, I have to take that. Like, Djere's a respectable tennis player. And like, just to win one set in a best-of-5 match.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect to hit that necessarily, but like, if it gets to 5-all or something, like, I'll ride that.
I agree with you. It feels like that's playable. You're gonna laugh at the line that I have here. Okay. Over 9.5 games in the first set is plus 220.
Yeah, that's a play of the day.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, that price is unbelievable. Plus 220 to get to 10 to the set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta hit that. That's amazing.
I mean, Zapata did it last round in the first set.
I know. And if there's
like, it probably will lose. Like, this probably will end up 6-3 Novak, but I don't know, man.
I'll ride that. If it's 4-2 or something, I'll ride it. Now, does Djokovic tends to start serving first, right?
He does. I mean, there's got to be a trend there with Djere also. Otherwise, I don't see why this would be that high. If not, but I mean, Djere could hold 4 times, or Djere could break Djokovic back, especially in the first set. Like, I'm not saying I think it's likely, but man, 220 feels.
I'm tempted to play the plus 9.5 too. That's a lot.
Yeah, I feel like 9.5's a lot, man. I feel like that's a really. But I actually prefer the over 9.5 in the first set, or you could play Djere. You play Djere plus 3 in the first set.
That's
minus 115.
Minus 115. That doesn't interest me because like a 6-2 or 6-1 is still in play here.
Well, plus 9.5 is minus 135. You'd have to bump it down to 9, and you could probably get something closer.
I want high plus money here since we're really backing the dog here to make it competitive. So I'm gonna do the over 9.5 in the first set. That's too good to pass up. And then I'm gonna do Djere to win a set at plus 270.
I don't hate that.
275. Yeah. Well, I'll just do the over 3.5 sets at plus 285. Right, because both.
Okay. You don't think Djere is going to win 3-0?
No. No.
I mean, if you really want, you can bet your yearly salary on Djokovic to win $100 and bet Djokovic to win a set.
Don't encourage our viewers to be degenerates.
What's amazing is that you can make that same amount of Djokovic to win 1 set, but if you want to bet Djokovic to win 2 sets, you have to bet the same amount of money. There's $100,000 to win $1,000.
Oh man.
Or $100,000 to win 100 if you want to bet on Djokovic to win 2 sets.
Do they have the prop Djokovic to win every set, love 1 and 2?
They do not have. Oh, they do.
Plus 1,200.
Yeah, that's not. I don't like it against Djere. I think Dere's like, he has enough weapons to get to 3 games in 1 set.
Agreed. Zapata.
He's just like a good enough player.
Yeah, and he's playing good tennis. Like, he's in a good run of form.
Yeah,
like, he's this 3rd round run came out of nowhere, right? So
like, I don't. The only thing I dislike about the bet Djere to win a set is that he's so bad mentally against top guys at the end of the sets, man. Like, you remember what happened to Djokovic or to him against Tsitsipas in Wimbledon?
Or against Zverev in Hamburg.
Yeah, like...
I get it. The price is just too good. These are
The
like
price is so juicy, though. I get it. I get it.
these plays are just pure price plays, and like,
Yeah,
would I
I
rather
agree. I
lay
agree.
minus 135 juice and lay and take 9.5 games, or would I just rather just like sweat out each set kind of separately and just hope he squeaks one out, you know?
Yeah.
Plus 280. So obviously,
Keep
like
going, O'Connell.
the over 9.5 games is like more of a like that's the bet I have way more confidence in, but like I don't know. Yeah. All right. Next match.
Next match is Alexander Zverev against Grigor Dimitrov.
Are we seriously getting this match again? Like, I'm tired of this matchup.
I know, me too.
It's like, I mean, this is it seems like it's a really good matchup for Zverev. Like, he just took him to the woodshed the last 2 times they played at the French and then in Cincy. So I'm assuming Zverev has got to be like a 5.5, 6 game favorite in that area.
Only 4.
I'm gonna lay the games with Zverev. Then
The money line is minus 250 on Zverev. It's plus 100 on Dimitrov. The total is 39.5.
under. We played the under in Cincy and it panned out really well.
Yeah.
39.5 is really good.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to play the under 39 because I think the under 39 will probably be close to even money. Under 39 is minus 110, or maybe I'll just keep it with 39.5. But yeah, I think that's my play here too. I think Zverev should win this easily, but like just matchup wise, I think he should beat.
Yeah,
But like both these guys are likely to dud. Like we've seen both these guys throw absolute duds before.
I think
Dimitrov definitely more so, but like could go either way.
I also think that this line is slightly inflated due to Dimitrov's like good match today against Murray.
Yeah.
I feel like if that match wasn't as comprehensive, it probably would be like 5.5 or 6. And I feel like any win versus Murray is not really impressive, but like I feel like since he's like still like a top 10 player of all time and like he has that name recognition, like people view it as a good win. You know?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Under 39, that could be a play of the day tomorrow. He'd go back to the well.
Yep.
So.
Um.
All right, next
match. Rinderknecht and Rublev.
Rinderknecht and Rublev. Wait, before we move on there, I want to just see. It's too juiced. I was hoping to get a better line on Zverev, minus 1.5 sets. It's minus 45. It's not good enough. All right. What was it? Rinderknecht against who?
Rublev.
Rinderknecht probably is. Rublev is probably a 5-game favorite.
5.5. It's minus 600 on Rublev, plus 425 if you want Rinderknecht. The total is 37.
What's Rinderknecht to win a set?
Bad. It's like minus 185.
Ew.
Sorry, minus 145. It's not as bad.
What's the over under here?
37.
Probably put it at 36, but it's well set. Rublev 3-0 plus 110.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rublev is dropping sets. Like he didn't have a good lead up.
Yeah.
And then I mean he did drop a set to Monfils today, and then like he got to a tiebreak with Arthur Cazzo. So it was 7-5. Like Cazzo easily could have won that set. So I don't necessarily like that either. This seems like a stay away to me.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I want to hit Rublev in some capacity.
Yeah, I know.
Just give me 10 seconds. I gotta go get tissue.
Yeah, well, we wait for Brad to
I want
come.
to hit Rublev in some capacities. I feel like 5 minutes. I feel like this line is I feel like the spread is not high enough. Like Rinderknecht really doesn't have much besides a serve and a forehand. Rublev has a better forehand. Like, what does Rinderknecht do to trouble Rublev?
I agree.
But like Rublev could play a bad set. He's capable. Rublev tends to play mostly, I think, one break sets. So does Rinderknecht because he does have a good serve. So it's like a weird match where like I think the line's off, but man, maybe it's not because like.
Well, Rublev hasn't been in the best form. Like if this was like Roland Garros or Wimbledon Rublev form, I totally back him here probably to win in straights. But like he's not been the most convincing.
Because the problem is really this line is all the same thing, and it's does Rinderknecht take his set? That all these lines are the same thing in my mind.
Yeah.
So the question is like, does Rinderknecht? And the answer is he probably does, but I don't really want to lay all that juice.
So then if you think that Rinderknecht might win a set, I think that actually probably the best line on the board, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to hit it, is probably the Rublev -5.5. Because I feel like if Rinderknecht wins a set, it's probably going to be 7-6. Right? And then
you can find a break too. Rublev has some punch away breaks for no reason.
Yeah, maybe, I guess, but it's unlikely. I don't know. I feel like if Rinderknecht wins a set, he's just going to steal one.
Yeah.
But I'd be more likely to play that if it was like 4.5 or 4, but not 5. 5.5 is a lot. Like,
yeah.
So probably going to stay away there.
Yeah, I'm debating. I want to find a way to hit Rublev, but I really can't seem to find one, so I probably will stay away too.
Okay. Next
I
match?
mean, the over 18.5 on Rublev, you start at over 20. The under 20 on Rublev is that's straight sets. See, they all stink.
Yeah. What about a Rinderknecht over like 10 or over Rinderknecht over 12.5 or something like that?
No, it starts at 16 for Rinderknecht.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's nothing good. 12.5.
All right, next up, this is a fun matchup. Arnaldi and Norrie.
Yeah, this is good. I sincerely hope I'm wrong, but I would put Arnaldi as a slight favorite at like probably -130, -140.
You are way off.
Whoa.
And I disagree with this line also. Norrie's a 5.5 game favorite. It's -400. Arnaldi's at +300. The total's 36.5.
I'm rubbing my hands together because I am going to hammer Arnaldi. I'm a little bit weary about the fatigue angle. That's the one part I am weary about. But other than that, in terms of game, in terms of form, I like Arnaldi in this matchup. So I'm going to hit the money line. I'm probably going to hit the first set money line at +190.
That's my play. Well, we have the same exact thoughts on this. This is a bad pod. We've had very little disagreement so far. Yeah, I'm on the Arnaldi set one money line at +190.
All right, I guess I could be a play of the day for Saturday.
Yeah.
Are you on the money line as well? Like the regular money line?
No, I don't like the fatigue angle. So I'm just gonna stick with the set one, and that's it.
Oh no, Norrie's been so bad. Like,
Dude, I know, man. Like,
so bad.
I completely get it. It's just like I get it. I just think I think the line is ridiculous, but I just like the fatigue angle, right? The only thing I think over is the fatigue angle.
Arnaldi minus 1.5 sets at plus 475 actually is very
honestly, like I think all of these lines are good. Right. I just think like it's just like for me, it's just like pick your favorite Arnaldi line. So I'm picking the 190 on the first set, but to me, it's just pick your favorite Arnaldi line.
All right, fair.
Because I don't understand why Arnaldi is this like. The only thing I can think is like name recognition, ATP ranking, like. But you would have thought the market would have moved it back by now. That's the other scary thing too. Is like, why did the market not move this back? Because like, I agree. I think this is way off. Like way off.
Way off. They've never played. But I also think like just from a matchup perspective, like Arnaldi matches up pretty well. Like he has weapons.
Yeah.
Serve. He has a big forehand. He actually has a pretty good backhand, right? So like he's gonna be the aggressor here, and
which
like,
is fine. Norrie doesn't mind counterpunching.
He doesn't, but I feel like even today when like Shu was like maneuvering the ball around the court, like Norrie was having some trouble defending and getting out of corners. Like he used to be better at that. Like that's where he's.
Yeah, I mean, look, I completely agree. Like I think this line is way off. I just like this is pick your favorite Arnaldi line. My favorite is set one money line. If you want to spread out across multiple things, I don't think it's a bad thing either.
Okay, fair enough. I'm definitely going to hit the money line as well, plus 300. It's a dog spot. So, all right, next match.
Michael MO against Jack Draper.
So Draper has to be favored here. I probably put Draper as like a 3-game favorite, 3.5.
5. The money line at MO is plus 200. On Draper, it's minus 250. The total 37.5.
Interesting. Let me hear your take on it.
I would have a lean on laying the games on Draper. A lean on taking the games with MO, but I'm not going to play it. I just think like so this match is like really tricky. It's like like MO just played a really like weird match, like a long but also strange,
emotional,
right? Like just a lot going on there. And like again, we talk about like the problem with Draper is like if he loses, will he retire? But like
if he loses the first set.
Yeah, but like
the fact that that's even a question and it's a valid question is just embarrassing.
Well, I think it's like 20% of his losses this year and similar over the past like 52 weeks where that's actually happened. It's like a quarter of his losses he's just retired. Like but yeah, I think this is a really tough one to bet. I also think like from a tennis perspective, this matchup really I think does favor Draper.
I agree with that.
Like Mo doesn't really have he's getting better, I feel like, but he still really doesn't have weapons. It's really just to get the ball back game for him.
That.
And if Draper's playing halfway, he also like Mo's serve isn't that good. Like even Draper could run away with a 6-2 set here.
I know it's but I think I'm still gonna play it. Draper minus 1.5 sets at minus 145. I think might be the best line on the board because like if Draper wins, I would want to bet him to win in 3 or 4 because if it goes 5, then the retirement's in play. More so, right?
Yeah.
Plus, we think Draper is like just a better player. So I think that's
that would be my lean. Actually, you know what? My lean isn't the games. My lean is the Draper minus 1.5. That would be my lean. I'm not going to play it, but that would be my lean.
That'd be your lean.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I'm going here. I'm gonna play that. All right, next match.
Next up is Nico Jarry and Alex de Minaur.
Interesting match. I'd say de Minaur is probably like a 3.5 game favorite.
5.
Whoa.
The money line is plus 260 for Jarry, minus 325 for de Minaur. And the over-under is 38.5, the total.
So I know you're going to be on the de Minaur side. Heavy, right?
I'm on the stay away side. I think this line's pretty well set.
I don't. I thought it would be more. I thought it would be a little bit closer here. That being said, I don't know. I mean, Jarry plus 5 games is a lot considering how well he serves. But he's been getting broken too. Like Michelson broke him. How many times did Michelson break him today?
I don't think more than 2 or 3. I don't remember offhand. It wasn't that many.
He broke 3 times and he had 9 break points. So I guess that shows. I mean, these courts are a little bit slower.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go back to the well and just go with the Jarry, the over 38.5 here.
Okay.
I just love playing Jarry overs. Like if we look at Jarry's tennis abstracts.
Well, he tends to play a lot of sets.
Right. So he could play like long sets, but then he also plays a lot of sets. So
yeah,
over didn't hit, but that was because it was so like it was a high over under. It was 40.5. But like Van Ash went over. Popper was a withdrawal, but then Safulin in Cincy, that was over. Humbert was over. Tsitsipas was over.
Over,
in, Los Cabos. Brower was over. Rodrigo Pacheco Mendez. I mean, we're not even going to count that. Alcaraz was over. Kubler was over. Cecchinato was over.
Yeah.
Barrere was over. I mean, like, so I'm not even like skipping matches. These are just matches that he's
played. I know. Yeah, he's become the new over guy.
And like he went over with Alcaraz, but then he also went over with G's Brower, right? So like that tells me that like he's probably going to go over with de Minaur. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's my play here. Over 38.5. Just going to go back to the well.
I think that's my lean here. It's not a play for me, but that's why I'm leaning in the same direction.
Okay.
Another boring pod, man. Like, we just like another boring blind where we both agree. I don't think we've had a single disagreement yet. Have we had a single disagreement yet?
Not yet. Well, we watch a lot of tennis and like, you know, we both make good observations, right? So there tends to be. So no pop.
I will say, Jarry on hard courts in 2023. Service points won like under only 68.6%. Return points won in 35. Oh no, sorry. Service points won in 20. Oh, sorry. 2023. Service points won 69%. Return points won 31.8%. So he's like barely above 500 on terms of points won. Total points won is 50.8%. So like on hard, he's not doing as well this year as it seems to be. But he's doing really well. He's holding 89% of the time and breaking 15.5, which both those are pretty good. So interesting.
Yeah.
Just some interesting food for fodder. I think if you're going to play this, I would play the over. I'm not going to. I think this line is pretty well set, including the over-under.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well set, but like, where do you place a Jarry total? You know, like, do you place it at 40? Do you place it at 38? Do you place it at 39? Like, I'll tend to lean over those numbers.
I get it.
Yeah. All right.
Last match to look at, because the two matches for tomorrow with Medvedev and Alcaraz aren't up yet because they played tonight.
Okay.
Wawrinka and Jannik Sinner.
All right. I probably lean Sinner -5.
It's Sinner -6.5. The money line is -650 for Sinner. It's +450 for Wawa. The total's 35.5.
So these guys played in Rotterdam earlier this year.
They've played twice this year. Rotterdam, and there was one I think even more recent, wasn't it?
Indian Wells.
Yeah, and both times Wawrinka got smacked.
But I also think this is a different Wawrinka than we saw at that point. This is a much.
I agree with you.
This is a great ball bashing contest. That's my takeaway from this matchup.
The problem is one of these guys actually moves a lot better than the other.
Right. It's pretty well set. I actually don't mind the under 9.5 in the first set at +110. That catches my eye. The fact that both matchups that they played this year were 6-1 in the first set.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
And Sinner does seem to be a quick starter, actually. And then as soon as like the opponent gets kind of used to his ball quality and his ball striking, then they tend to get into the match. That's how I feel it goes. Like Sinner.
What's the under 10.5 games in the first set? I know it's gonna be mad juice, but I'm curious to know.
-285.
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
but it's probably, if you're just trying to churn out money, that's probably a good play. But maybe not. Like Stan's actually got a pretty good serve. It's hard to say. It's a lot of juice delay.
I think maybe the better play is to go under 8.5 at +285.
Yeah.
The first set.
Yeah. See that.
Because like Wawrinka could just come out kind of like shell shocked at how well Sinner's hitting the ball and just start spraying. Because I feel like with Wawrinka, if the player he's playing can match him ball for ball, he just starts overhitting. Because like I feel like he has that pride where he doesn't think that other guys can like match his power.
I don't think it's pride. What else can Wawrinka do? He has no other game, especially at this point. He doesn't move well anymore. Like all he can do is, but he can bash with the best of them, and that's what and he's actually pretty accurate, and like he's pretty good, like tactical bashing, if you will, and like using spins, and he uses the slice a fair amount. Like he actually like does like try to do different stuff with the ball. He just can't move very well, so it's hard for him to get in. It's hard for him to be creative at this point, but he's still got a good serve too.
He does. Wawrinka to win a set is -120. Sinner to win in straights is -110. Those are slightly interesting. It seems pretty well set though to me. The line. What about you?
I'm staying away. For me, I think this is really well set. Like, and the problem is it can go either way, right? Like I could see Sinner. I can make an argument for Sinner just dominating here because he's a better athlete, and there's just nothing like Wawa should be able to do to hurt him.
The virus.
I can see a lot of exactly. That's better. That Wawrinka's best chance to actually win the match is the virus. But on the flip side, 6.5 is a lot for a guy who serves as good as Wawrinka does, man. Like one break from Sinner and the set could be over. So I got no play here. My Saturday's actually been pretty boring. Tomorrow's gonna be fun, but my Saturday's gonna be pretty boring.
Okay, let's see what the Alcaraz and Medvedev.
That's true. I might be able to find some lines there.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. So let's recap. So plays of the day. Tomorrow, Tommy Paul, right? Money line minus 130.
Yep. Karatsev in the Shelton in the over.
Shelton in the over will be a play of the day as a parlay.
And what is it? What is that again? How many is the total there? Shelton, it's like over 39 or something.
39.5 plus 225.
Yep. We've got Rinky.
Well, I have the under.
You don't like Rinky, that's right. Bonsai at plus 110 on the money line. I think we both like.
Well, I had the under. I had the
under there.
You had the.
And that's all we. Oh no, the other. Yeah, then that's all we got for tomorrow. Unless you like Djere plus the or the Djere Djokovic to go over 9.5 in the first set at plus 220.
Let's do that too.
All right, so we got plus 220 over 9.5 for Djere and so Djere Djokovic over 9.5 plus 220. First in set 1. That's the first play of the day.
Okay.
Second play of the day is the Tommy Paul money line at minus 130 over Fokina. The third play of the day is the Shelton and the over 39.5 parlayed together. And that's at plus 225, you said?
Yep, sounds good. And then our other plays, I have Tiafoe 3-1 against Monterino. You have the Rinky money line at plus 130. I have the under 39.5.
I have Paul the 05 sets versus Fokina.
Yep.
And I also have the Paul Fokina over 38.5 money line combo at 225.
And I have the Paul over 4.5 breaks at even money.
Yep.
I have that.
I have the Bonsai money line. You have the under. I'm tempted to take the Fritz under. I probably will end up doing it, but I'm not sure yet.
Yep, I have the Fritz under.
And then that's it in terms of other stuff I've got. I've got stuff for Saturday then too. Saturday.
I have the Vesely Gojo under as well.
Oh, you do. That's right. You do. Yep. So you have a bet. You have a lot more bets than me for tomorrow, which is not surprising. And then for Saturday, I think we're both on the Arnaldi plus 190 set 1 money line versus Norrie. Brad would like to play Rublev in some way.
We're also on the Dimitrov Zverev under.
We are. That's right. I forgot about that.
That will be on Saturday. So Saturday we'll have 2 plays of the day, pending the Medvedev and Alcaraz matches. It will be Arnaldi set 1 money line and Dimitrov Zverev under. Is that right?
Yep. So 2 plays of the day on Saturday. The only other play that Brad has is, well, right now, that's it. There are no other plays for Brad right now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I have the Draper minus 1.5 sets at minus 145. I have the Fritz Mensik under.
Oh, I have that also. I have the Fritz. I forgot that was Saturday. I have the Fritz Mensik under.
No, wait. That's Friday.
Oh, that's Friday night. I have the Fritz Mensik under 33.5 as well, but not a play of the day.
Wawrinka center. With the Wawrinka center, I think I'm gonna be kind of pesky and play the under 9.5 in the first set at plus 110.
Okay, makes sense.
That I like the Yari de Minaur over 38.5. The Draper minus 1.5 sets, as I mentioned before. I like also the Arnaldi money line, and I like Arnaldi minus 1.5 sets at plus 475, I believe. And the Rinderknecht Rublev match, I don't think I have a play on that. I think that was really well set. So, all right, guys.
All right, guys, that's all we have. It's getting late here. It's about 3 a.m. on the East Coast. Manny and I are both about ready to fall asleep. So I think with that, we're gonna call it. Thanks for all the followers. Any comments? Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Feel free to follow on the Twitter page. Comment on the Twitter page. Any feedback is awesome. We love hearing people. We just love chatting tennis. So,
absolutely. All right, guys. Have a good night. See ya.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.